If you've ever woken up to back days as the first snowfall of the year, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, where we kick off a new week, the week of November 10th. It's Monday. It's Victory Monday. We are out here celebrating. Sounds like we're going to get some government shutdown news. So the Schumer shutdown finally ends. Markets are responding positively across the board. New week, new vibes, new energy. We're going to cover the news. We're going to cover the price action. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Monday edition for November 10th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a great weekend, in particular, a great Sunday, because I know I did. Victory Monday commences again. Well, I could get used to this. I really could. Jane is going to be first today. Jane, good morning. Jane is first. I was a little late getting here, opening up the stream, but Jane, you are first here today. Good stuff. Good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Brian says REITs based in New York are worth watching once January comes. Gives ticker VNO and SLG. His win is already priced in, but a shift in regulation demand will hurt. We are actually discussing setting up this trade in happy hour, Brian. And I don't have anything on yet. I don't have anything concrete, but we are absolutely looking at the two tickers that you just mentioned. As I continue to get more of a formulated plan from happy hour, I will bring some of those details to the morning show here. New York, not my wheelhouse at all. I'm actually going to talk to Tim Melvin about some of this as well. So look for more on that. You're not the only one looking for that particular trade. So there should be some more of that coming here, Bri. We'll be taking a look at that quite a bit, I think. Marty, good morning. Memory like the corner of my mind. Misty watercolor SanDisk, back to where we were. Those stocks are just absolutely incredible. Shorts on that just did not work for any more than like 5 minutes. Tom, good morning. This is great Bears comeback. Ryan is doing the happy dance. Yo, Ryan could get used to this on Sunday. Ryan has a lot of good Sundays. They're up and down for a while there. I mean, I sent a text to the group that was like, I can't believe that the Bears are going to lose to the Giants at home. And before I knew it, I was doing the happy dance, Tom. Good morning. Welcome back. And Brian's Jets won. How about that, Bri? Happy on a Monday for you as well. Whisk, good morning. Welcome back. Ryan, good morning. Welcome back. Brian here saying, I'm not even joking when I say this anymore. Vegas ruined sports. We'll continue to see our players get caught up in the gambling. Emmanuel Clase is the most recent victim. Brian, I would push back on you on both fronts of that. First of all, Clase is not a victim. He is a perpetrator. And yeah, he's probably going to jail. That stuff is terrible. I would also push back on the gambling aspect of this. The gambling apps are catching these people. Their deterrence for unusual betting is helping uncover some of this fraud. I actually think that's a net good thing for the league, because when players try to defraud the league and then by sports fans, they're getting busted. I actually think that's good. I'll go the other way on that. We'll see how it all shakes out. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Shady, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Producers locked in. Sunkissed Yogi, good morning. Neville, good morning. Mama Bear, good morning. Durkus, good morning. Knights Lance, good morning. Bill's back. Nestor, excuse me, good morning. Big Bear Hug, good morning. Yeah, so fine, good morning. Transitions, good morning. Graf, good morning. Big B's, good morning. Corey, it's good to see you again. Angelito, good morning. Just passing through, good morning. Kenneth, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Booglog, Jim, and Golden Brown, good morning. Johnny, it's good to see you again. Invest to win. That's exactly what we're going to do here today, boss. Good to have you locked in. Sean, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, good morning. JJ, good morning. Archangel, free Diddy tomorrow. LOL. Welcome back. You're not first here, though, today. Sorry. Crimp Biscuit, welcome back. Maverick, welcome back. Good morning. Candy, good morning. Glenn, good morning. Ari Stock Market, good morning. Forever 21 Bitcoin. I think that's Barry the Goat based on the picture, but awesome name. Good morning. Welcome back. Shanard, good morning. Darkside Hemi, good morning. Seaboogie, good morning. Just some guy, good morning. Micah, good morning. It's good to see you again. Robot to Trade, welcome back. Yassine, welcome back. Linda, welcome back. And Yes Mid, good morning. Yassine, how excited are you? How excited are you? I can't wait to put on ESPN 1000 today and hear what the guys are saying about our beloved Bears. All right, let's go ahead and start with the stock market today. Futures green across the board ahead of Monday's open on the back of a possible ending to the government shutdown. S&P futures up 0.92%, Dow futures up 0.38%, and the NASDAQ leading the way higher at 1.48%. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. Sectors gaining on Friday included energy, utilities, and real estate, which recorded the biggest gains as most S&P sectors or segments closed positively. Investors weighed two major developments out of Washington, a significant step forward towards ending the record-long government shutdown, and a surprise stimulus proposal from President Trump. A key vote took place in the Senate on Sunday, advancing the funding bill aimed at ending the 40-day Schumer government shutdown. Meanwhile, Trump posted a proposal for a $2,000 tariff dividend in a social media post on Sunday. However, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent suggested any dividend may arrive through other means other than checks in the mail. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.13%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.59%. Now, we do have some stocks in focus today on a Monday. First one here is going to be ticker OXY, OXY. That's Occidental Petroleum. That rode 0.7 in the pre-market on Monday as it expected to post its quarterly earnings of 52 cents per share on revenue of $6.68 billion after the market closes today. So OXY on our list here for earnings today after the close. Viasat, ticker VSAT, that jumped 13.21% after it posted earnings of 9 cents per share on sales of $1.41 billion for the second quarter. Micron, someone already mentioned SanDisk. Micron, also on our list for stocks in focus here today, ticker MU, that gained 4.48% after reports of rising prices for next generation HBM4 memory chips. Doesn't seem like this stuff is going anywhere. NVIDIA making our list here today. They jumped 3.23% after last week's losses. They're leading the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 higher here this morning. In fact, if we do a quick check on NVIDIA right now, holding here at 194 this morning after closing at 188.15 on Friday. The last stock on our list is going to be Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM. It climbed 2.76% after its October revenue climbed 17% year over year to $11.99 billion. Now remember, TSM, the thing behind the thing there for a lot of this AI play, good momentum, good quality ranking, and a better scoring value ranking, intact price trend, short, medium, and long term. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart and see where we sit. Boy, oh boy, what a difference a weekend makes and a potential news catalyst on top of it. When we left off last week, we talked about losing the 20-day on the SPY, and we talked about the SPY perhaps finding some support at the 50-day, which seemed to be the next target down. Zooming out shows that any move to the 50-day recently has produced a bounce. Yet to be seen, but we'll see if we get that now. Sure looks like the price of the market peaked beneath that 50-day. We now have a bullish candle on there for Friday. And today we are actually gapping above the 20-day. So key levels for today are going to be a lot of the same from last week. We're definitely going to be looking at the 20-day moving average. That value here this morning is 674.41. If we can keep our close above that, we should be in an intact short-term price trend to the upside. The other level to keep in mind is going to be that 673 level, marked off on the chart here as 672.99. That was a previous all-time high breakout that we have been using as support. The price is now gapping above that as well. Furthermore, ultimately, we should always be keeping our eyes on the 50-day moving average anytime the market rolls over. The other thing that I want to do is I had a very, if we actually go inside, you should be able to see this a little bit easier. One of the things that we were talking about is this trend line here. Right when the SPY made the high on Wednesday, October 29th, we actually drew a trend line from the next day pre-market highs. And the SPY did a really good job staying beneath that level, just did not have the strength nor the volume to break out from that level. So what are we going to do here today? You guessed it. We're going to extend that trend line and see if this provides any type of breakout mechanic for today's session. So I'm going to just eyeball it here. So my values might be slightly different, but I'm going to try and keep the top of the candle from Monday, November 3rd as one of the highs. Let's maybe look inside here and see how well I did on that. We are basically just kissing the tops of those. Absolutely perfect. So we'll see if this is an area to break here today. If I estimate this, I have this at about 682.25. We'll see if the SPY can continue to move higher or if it gives up its pre-market gap here today. All right, so that's where we're at with the SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts here. Ryan Dietrich of the Carson Group views the government shutdowns as short-term noise for investors, arguing that the market's performance during the political gridlock, is largely unchanged. He notes that historical data shows the S&P 500 median returns during past shutdowns were a mere 0.1%. The real story, according to Dietrich, is the powerful bullish precedent set after the government reopens. His analysis highlights that since 1976, the S&P 500 has posted an average gain of 12.3% in the 12 months following the end of a shutdown. So it looks like green roads ahead here, according to Dietrich and his data. This post-opening rally has a high probability of success. Dietrich's data shows that the market was positive 20 out of 22 times in the year after the government reopened, which represents a 91% win rate. For anyone that wants these stats, the stocks in focus, or anything linked to this article, that link there is in the chat for you. While stocks were slightly positive during the current impasse, Dietrich's perspective emphasizes that the significant move for investors is the historically strong rally following the resolution, not the flat performance during the event itself. He actually has a chart to kind of go over all of that as well. Sounds like the longest government shutdown ever is over. And once again, stocks were higher during the shutdown, but not by much. But also note that stocks have been higher 20 out of 22 times. Giddy up. For any of you that were hoping for a potential Santa Claus rally, that is back on deck, at least so far. We'll see how we finish off the rest of the year here. But the stats pointing to a good year end so far. All right. A little bit more color on this. The Senate advances the vote to end the record 40-day government shutdown as Thanksgiving looms. Democratic centrists reach a deal with the GOP leaders. The Senate on Sunday advanced towards a vote to reopen the federal government, fueling hopes that the record-breaking 40-day shutdown could soon end. The Senate is preparing to advance the House-passed bill that combines the short-term funding measure with 3 full-year appropriations bills, according to Senate Majority Leader John Thune. The package still requires approval from the House of Representatives and President Trump. Senators are preparing for a Sunday night vote. That vote's taken place now to advance the House-approved bill that will be revised to merge a short-term funding extension, keeping the government running through January, with 3 full-year spending measures, said Thune. Senate Democrats have been holding out for health care reforms, including extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which have been discussed in a separate vote. Senator Richard Blumenthal has voiced opposition to the funding measure without a clear promise on health care tax credits, but acknowledged potential Democrat support for its passage. The group of 8 centrist Senate Democrats reached a deal with GOP leaders and the White House to end the nation's longest ever government shutdown in exchange for a future vote on extending enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies. That was reported by CNN. The agreement brokered Sunday by Senator Jeanne Shaheen, Angus King, and Maggie Hassan, alongside Senate Majority Leader Thune, would temporarily fund the government through January. I knew I was going to screw one of these titles and names up. I knew I was going to do it. It was only a matter of time. Now we're past it. The shutdown has severely affected federal workers, food aid, parks, and travel, with air traffic controller staffing issues threatening Thanksgiving travel. No bueno out there. Senator Tom Tills noted that the impact of the shutdown has pushed towards an agreement. The new resolution aims to reverse some federal workers' layoffs. The White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett warned of potential negative economic growth if air traffic doesn't normalize by Thanksgiving. The shutdown has caused widespread disruption, with American Airlines CEO Robert Isom highlighting the impact on air travel. The airline canceled over 220 flights due to air traffic controller shortages affecting routes like Miami to Orlando. The shutdown has also jeopardized federal food aid, as the USDA said that Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, or SNAP, would not be issued on November 1st. The Supreme Court on Friday granted the Trump administration a temporary reprieve in its dispute over SNAP payments, halting a lower court order that required full food aid distribution during the shutdown. So it looks like we're on the right track. Hopefully we run that through the finish line here. The question that I kind of was proposing last week, just in general, was, does the end of the government shutdown represent a strong enough catalyst to really take the market higher? Remember, there are other fears here. Government data, we don't know, although we should have the September data, and I kind of wonder if we'll get that this week if the government does reopen. From what I was kind of poking around, if they're going to end up doing this and they're going to be successful, it will probably take the week to reopen. So I don't know when we're actually going to see those data prints. We're also dealing with higher inflation, and worries about debt levels and worries about valuation. So is this positive catalyst going to be enough to drive us higher? Today will be a good first step in determining if that's the case. Now, next thing we want to take a look at here is going to be Taiwan Semiconductor. Remember, that was one of our stocks in focus. What we'll do here is we'll start with the chart for ticker TSM. Here's what it looks like. Recently, the move down from its all-time highs. It is worth noting that we did have a double top up here right around 310, but now we're kind of rolling over a little bit. It does look like we found some support here at the 50-day moving average. It's worth noting that the last time we were at the 50-day moving average, we peaked beneath it, gapped beneath it, very quickly reclaimed, peaked beneath it again, but held the low, and then ripped. And so my question is, what do we do this time? We're driving down towards the 50-day. The candle from Friday has a wick that peaks beneath the 50-day moving average. Today we gap up, and while we are short of the 296 and a quarter 20-day moving average, that sure looks like that might be on deck here today. Currently in the pre-market, 293.01 for Taiwan Semiconductor. We're only 3 points away. We'll see if we can reclaim that 20-day. I would say that if we do reclaim that 20-day, next on deck here is going to be 310. And maybe it won't come in the first day or in one day, but I got to think that if we recapture the 20-day here, a move towards that double top all-time high on TSM probably imminent. Let's take a look at the news story here. They rallied on big October sales and growing NVIDIA demand. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company stock advanced on Monday after the company reported solid October financial results, underscoring continued momentum in advanced chip demand. The chipmaker posted consolidated net revenue of approximately $367.47 billion in new Taiwanese dollars for October of 2025, and that was up 16.9% year over year and 11% from the prior quarter. Revenue for January through October reached 3.13 trillion new Taiwanese dollars, marking a 33.8% increase from the same period last year. Doesn't look like there's any signs of slowdown, at least not from this company's viewpoint. TSMC shares have gained more than 45% year to date, outperforming the PHLX Semiconductor Index roughly 40% return, reflecting its central role in the global AI computing boom. And remember, when we were talking about AI stocks on a very regular basis here, one of the things that we were discussing in our just AI focused discussions, 13 brought this up a number of times. Taiwan Semiconductor sure seems to be the stock that's behind all of this. And without Taiwan Semiconductor, this entire theme wouldn't be advancing. Thus, this actually might make a good play. Those investors continue to get rewarded here. NVIDIA CEO presses for more capacity. Stop me if you've heard that before. The company deepened its ties with NVIDIA last week following CEO Jensen Huang's visit to Taiwan, where he met Taiwan Semiconductor CEO C.C. Wei over dinner in Taipei. Huang highlighted that the company's importance to NVIDIA's expansion, noting that AI chip demand is growing month by month, end quote, and prompting his request for additional wafer supply. Taiwan Semiconductor maintains a critical supplier for NVIDIA's Blackwell AI platform, which continues to see surging global demand even as U.S. export restrictions evolve. Speaking in Hsinchu, Huang credited Taiwan Semiconductor for reliable wafer support and described the partnership as essential to NVIDIA's performance in advanced AI markets. CEO C.C. Wei confirmed Huang's request for increased wafer capacity, but did not disclose any further details. The Blackwell systems are expected to drive an estimated $5 to $6 billion in NVIDIA's next quarter revenue, reinforcing TSMC's importance at the heart of the AI hardware supply chains. The company's advanced node leadership positions as the company's advanced node leadership positions it as a key beneficiary of accelerating compute demands from hyperscale customers. Taiwan Semiconductor also strengthened its U.S. footprint, naming Sajeev Dalal as CEO of its North American operations. The appointment signals continued investment in the region amid renewed tariff concerns following President Trump's policy stance. In August, the company reported its first ever profit from its Arizona manufacturing operations in 2025, a milestone as domestic capacity continues to scale. That Arizona facility is one that we have long been talking about here for compute and for AI. Now they're starting to turn a profit. Time to ramp. Day Trader says, Taiwan Semiconductor, my second biggest bag behind SoFi, in from under $90. Let's go, Day Trader. This is how we're going to start off Mondays. We're going to start off Mondays with dubs in the football season and big time good decisions. Day Trader showing us the ladder. All right. Beijing does suspend some export curbs on key tech metals after the successful Trump-Xi meeting. China has suspended its nearly year-long ban on exports of gallium, germanium, and antimony to the United States. The country's commerce minister broke the news on Sunday following the recent, quote, amazing meeting, end quote, by President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. According to Reuters, the ministry confirmed that the exports of these three critical metals can resume immediately. Still, they remain subject to China's broader export licensing regime. The export ban imposed nearly a year ago was a retaliatory measure in response to the U.S.'s advanced chip and semiconductor export controls. While the ban slowed direct shipments, it did not stop the metals from reaching the U.S. buyers altogether. Imports continued through intermediaries in Southeast Asia and Europe, albeit at a higher cost with longer lead times. And now the tariff discussion has stopped that. These three materials are crucial for high-tech and defense industries. Gallium and germanium are essential for semiconductors, radar systems, and fiber optics, while antimony is widely used in flame retardants and ammunition primers. Despite the small market size of these metals, their scarcity and supply chains make them strategically significant. In gallium's case, the problem lies not in price, but in availability. In recent years, China has produced nearly 99% of the world's refined gallium, giving control over the metal. When the country restricted exports in 2023, global prices more than doubled, from around 350 per kilo to over 700, creating bottlenecks for semiconductors and defense contractors that depend on gallium-based compounds such as gallium nitride and gallium arsenide. The temporary return of exports is therefore expected to ease supply chain pressures, but will not eliminate strategic vulnerability. All good news there. The U.S. and its allies have been racing to diversify critical mineral supply chains. Rio Tinto, ticker RIO, and Indium Corporation successfully extracted pure gallium from alumina refinery waste in Quebec in May. The pilot plant aims to produce 3.5 tons per year. Meanwhile, Greece's Melton Energy and Metals, OTC ticker MYTHY. I actually think, despite us really not focusing on OTCs in this show or in Happy Hour, I actually think we've discussed Mithy before. MYTHY, we've definitely looked at that, although I haven't traded this personally. Anyway, Melton Energy and Metals targets a production of 50 tons by 2028. The project is part of the European Union's Strategic Minerals Initiative. Western producers are also developing technologies to extract byproduct metals such as scandium and tellurium for existing operations. But it will take time to rebuild expertise lost after years of reliance on the Chinese refiners. The Commerce Ministry stated that the suspension of export restrictions to the U.S. would remain in effect until November 27, 2026, without any further details. For now, the suspension provides temporary relief to the U.S. industries that are dependent on these metals. Still, the underlying power dynamics in the global supply chain persist, and we should expect more onshoring to be done if possible. If possible. Okay. This is a sad story, I guess, kind of. I guess it's not really sad, but we're going to talk about it because it involves Mag 7 stock Meta. Here's what the Meta chart looks like here today. Yes, we are up 1.3% on the back of the potential government shutdown ending and the boost to the overall tech sector. But when we take a look at the daily chart here on Meta, you can see we still haven't recovered some of the damage done technically to this chart. Nonetheless, question is, do we have a trade on our hands here? Certainly looks like the candle from Friday is fairly bullish, and with a move up higher here, can we take out 644, 645? We shall see. We do have a downward sloping trend line that originated in February of 2025. That will have to be recaptured along with the 200-day shortly after. Here's some news from Meta. Leaked documents unveil Meta's $16 billion revenue projection from scam ads. Leaked internal documents have revealed that Meta projected a revenue of approximately $16 billion from scam advertisement and banned goods in 2024, which would account for nearly 10% of its total revenue. Man, if you didn't need any more reasons to dislike this company, you're welcome. Here's another one. $16 billion in scam ads. As per the documents, Meta was unable to prevent a flood of ads that exposed billions of users to fraudulent e-commerce and investment schemes, illegal online casinos, and the sale of prohibited medical products. These documents, which were dated December of 2024, suggested that Meta displayed an estimated 15 billion higher risk scam ads daily. Like, I keep reading the story and I get more and more upset, but nothing's going to bring me down on this Victory Monday. Y'all know me. We out here. We're going to have a good time. F Meta. Another document from within the company indicated that these ads continue to about $7 billion of Meta's annual revenue. That report came from Reuters. Despite being aware of the, quote, scammiest scammers, end quote, Meta was reportedly slow in taking action against them. Some big spenders, referred to as high-value accounts, were able to accumulate over 500 strikes against them without being shut down. The company's ad personalization system meant that users who clicked on scam ads were likely to see more of them. Oh, that's fabulous. It's fabulous that it works that way. As per the outlet, a spokesperson from Meta argued that 10% of the revenue projection was rough and overly inclusive and not a definitive final figure. That's code for it could be more than that. Good God. They also stated that the company has been actively fighting frauds and scams. I wonder how much, with user reports about scam ads decreasing by more than 50% over the last 15 months. This revelation could potentially harm Meta's reputation and user trust. Is this already not harmed? Does anyone look? I see producers talking about Zuckerberg sucking, Zuck suck. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to go down that road. Day Trader here saying Facebook sucks. I totally agree. Facebook sucks. Does anyone that uses Meta have trust? Just out of curiosity, is your trust harmed by this? Asking for a friend. Given the company's inability to effectively control scam advertisements, the fact that these ads contribute significantly to Meta's revenue might raise questions about the company's commitment to user safety and its effort to combat fraudulent activities. The slow response in taking action against high-value accounts could also be seen as a tactic endorsement of these activities. Despite the company's claim of a decrease in user reports about scam ads, the leaked documents suggest a different reality. I don't really know what to say. The stock really has been a good trade, and I don't want to be naive enough to believe that like something uncovered like this is going to be the thing that takes it down. I can't promise you that. But man, I feel dirty just reading the story. I am so glad that I don't have an active Facebook account. I am so glad that I got out of Dodge when I did. I just feel like the more and more news we hear about the actual experience for the end user here is just more and more and more poor. And it sucks. So anyway, that being said, still interested if any of you have trades on Meta. And I guess if we think back to the chart here, it has taken a hit from all-time highs. So maybe there will be a trade there, and particularly if the end of the year here is strong. But I leave it up to you folks that have more experience than I. Brian here says, Facebook Marketplace is the worst place to have to sell something. The bad part is that one of the only ways you can sell something. Mom Bear says no trades on Meta. Jim says it reminds him of Roblox. That's not great. Bill here says, I've had great results selling on the marketplace. And, I've got another friend that said she also had some pretty good results selling on marketplace. I guess that's hit or miss. I guess that depends on, the buyer and the seller that get connected. If two good people get connected, perhaps you'll consummate a good sale. Nonetheless, though, fake ads, scam ads, this much, 16 billion. Oh, man. I'm going to go to sleep tonight feeling good that I didn't make a dime off scammy ads at all, ever. So we're better than that. I don't know what else to say. This is really embarrassing. Okay, next story here. Maybe this will be embarrassing too. We'll see. After all, it is about Kramer. Izzy here says, my son sells golf balls on Marketplace. So the best business model I ever saw was during the summer. Kids that were lucky enough to live on a house that was on the golf course would, of course, collect a bunch of golf balls, wash them, and then keep them in a tub. And when golfers came around, especially those kids that lived on like the back nine, when golfers would come around, a number of them would have a few adult beverages in them by then and probably lost a few golf balls. Seeing a huge tub of golf balls out there with a couple of entrepreneurial kids saying, hey, I've got Pro V1s and Callaways and TaylorMades here. And it's like 10 for $5. It's like, oh, that's a great deal. That's a great deal. I definitely support those kids every time I see them. The balls are generally in good shape, much cheaper, and we're going to support kids that have that entrepreneurial drive. That's for sure. So there you go. We live on a golf course. He sells Pro V1s. He's already doing what I'm saying. That's great. Izzy, let me know what golf course I'd like to support his business at some point. Jim Cramer was left unimpressed with his ChatGPT encounter. Quote, hard to believe any serious entity really trusts these chatbots, end quote. This is going to be a good one, folks. Jim Cramer has raised fresh doubts about the reliability of AI chatbots like OpenAI's ChatGPT after experiencing inconsistent answers firsthand. He's just discovering this. I guess that's my first follow-up here. On Sunday, CNBC host Jim Cramer took to X to share his frustration with AI chatbots. He said he asked ChatGPT for data on single-family home prices over the last 6 years, but each time he rephrased the question, he received different numbers. Quote, "It's so hard to believe how many serious entities really trust these chatbots," end quote, calling out their dependence on inaccurate sources. His comments reflect a growing concern among professionals about the reliability of AI-generated information in fields that demand precision, such as finance and economics. For anyone that wants to go through Cramer's tweets here, you could do so at your own risk, but here is your story. AI experts say Cramer's experience highlights a broader issue known as hallucination. And no, we're not talking about the college experience where you ate a bunch of magic mushrooms and saw cool colors. We're talking about actually getting data incorrect for things that need to be precise, where models like ChatGPT and Copilot and others produce responses that are nonsensical or factually wrong. No word yet if it could taste colors, but we'll see what happens as that continues to move down the road here. Speaking with Benzinga, Mathis de Vries, founder of data infrastructure from Nuclei, said that the underlying problem stems from fragmented access to verified data. Quote, "I don't believe hallucinations are caused solely by poor data infrastructure. That would be an oversimplification. That said, insufficient or fragmented across access to real-time verifiable data makes the problem significantly worse." Earlier, Jan LeCun, often called the godfather of AI, described hallucination as a natural result of how large language models work. Quote, "Because of the auto-aggressive prediction, every time an AI produces a token or a word, there is some level of probability for that word to take you out of the set of reasonable answers." That came from the Lex Friedman podcast. Actually, I haven't listened to this one, but this would be a good one to I might look that up. Stay tuned on that. Meanwhile, OpenAI's massive spending plans have raised concerns about its long-term stability. CEO Sam Altman revealed that the company has 1.4 trillion in commitments over 8 years for data centers and AI chips. When OpenAI aims to hit 20 billion annualized revenue run rate by the end of 2025, Altman admitted it might need to go public to sustain growth, drawing comparisons to the dot-com era's high-stakes expansion. All right. Load up the meme, producer. Let's see it. Here we go. So I actually saw this post last week. Take it in. ChatGPT, are these berries poisonous? No, they're 100% edible and they're excellent for gut health. Eats the berries. 60 minutes later, ChatGPT, I'm in the emergency room. Those berries were poisonous. You're right. They were incredibly poisonous. Would you like me to list 10 other poisonous foods? I mean, so the whole thought here about AI taking our jobs, I really think that that's pretty off base. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to lose some jobs to AI. Sure, we're definitely going to. But the reality is that AI is going to need to be controlled. And the real jobs here, the ones that are going to pay, the ones that are going to have staying power, are going to be those jobs that successfully integrate creative, problem-solving individuals with helpful AI tools to remove some of the remedial tasks. That being said, errors are going to happen. Errors are going to happen, and somebody needs to be on top to keep track of those. You can't just rely on AI. If you're going to eat something that you've never eaten before, maybe ask an expert and not an AI chatbot. You don't want it to hallucinate, because if you eat that something, you might hallucinate, or even worse. So just be careful with that. I do use AI chatbots, but it's more for a entertainment purpose, I suppose, than actually relying on those things. Okay, that's all I got here for you for news. No guest here today on Monday. I think we're going to get 13. I can't remember if he was going to go tailgate for the Packer game here today. I'm pretty sure he was going to show up. So when he does, we'll go ahead and dive into movers. The first one that I wanted to start with here is actually going to be Ondas. This is a show favorite, as I'm sure some of you trade or know. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Then I'll go through some of the comments here in the chat from you guys. So here's Ondas. So obviously we had that really great meteoric rise, and then we had a kind of a pretty nasty pullback here. I know the question that everybody is asking, myself included, is the pullback over? So last week we talked about other ways to kind of trade this during the pullback. Some of the ways were buying 5 puts, just to kind of be able to hold on to your stock, but still expose yourself to some downside move, essentially hedge the position. I've been doing that. I still have a couple of those. We'll see what ends up happening to that. And I also sold some calls last week. But keep in mind, with the calls, I have stock to cover that. So in this case, I sold some of the 6 calls to collect some of that premium. The stock's above 6. If it closes above 6 at the December expiry, which I believe is December 19th, then I'll have some shares called away at $6. So to me, that's just raising more capital. Remember, the cost basis was under 80 cents at this point for those shares. So we're talking about a massive, massive gain on that. This is just a couple of other ways that I kind of padded myself for the downside here on ONDS. Looking at the daily chart here, sure looks like we're trying to bounce off the 100-day. Keep in mind this Thursday, I beg your pardon, this Thursday, we have earnings before the market opens. So I am hoping for a big earnings report, but I don't know what they're going to report, and it will likely move the stock. So the calls that I sold, especially because they're covered, I'm going to hang on to those. I'm not going to buy to cover those. I'm just going to, if it closes above 6, great, we'll liquidate more of the stock. If not, I'm going to hold that as kind of a hedge through the earnings print here. But this is what's going on here. This actually happened on, I believe this was Friday, right? Yes. Friday, November 7th, late in the afternoon, saw this tweet on X. Securiton Germany have selected the Iron Drone Raider as the kinetic interception solution for CUAS as part of the system they're offering to the German armed forces. There's going to be some more updates on this, but they had some of this stuff in the tweet. For anyone that's interested in this, here is that tweet. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because if we go back to the chart and we take a look inside, you can see in the after hours on Friday, this is what actually ramped the stock. We did move close to 7 with the high being 689, and we're holding here at 654. So I don't know what's going to happen today to the stock, but that's basically what's going on. That's why the stock's moving here. We also had some news here this morning that Ondas appoints former Rafael president and CEO Major General Yov Harivan to the Ondas Autonomous Systems Advisory Board. Remember, this tracks with what Eric told us about building the best possible technology stack and putting people that were experienced in all of these different areas of technology in a position to make a difference. It looks like they're continuing that. The big catalyst here, obviously, the big catalyst here is going to be earnings. And just like we did last time, we want to see revenue. I think with all of the stuff that's going on with drones right now, we got news last week that the United States wants to buy like 1 million drones or whatever it is. All of that news should be pretty good here for Ondas, but we got to see those numbers. The market is not going to wait forever to see numbers. So we had a really good quarter last time. If we can follow that up with a good one, another good quarter, giddy up, stock should be good. All right, that's what we got here. Real quickly here, I've just never heard of it. Oh, Izzy. And you can roll those too. That's right, day trader. So the sold calls or the puts, any of those open option contracts, you can roll them depending on what the price does. Really, really good stuff. Okay. Let's see, what else did I miss here? Looks like my disdain for Meta and scam ads is shared by a lot of you. That's great to hear. And you were saying Mark Zuckerberg was just fishing for kickbacks, or was that Kramer? I don't even know which story that was about. Frankly, with either of those, that might be correct, to be quite honest with you. Nestor says ChatGPT has gone downhill a lot. I'm not sure what happened. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure either. I know when these large language models first came out, ChatGPT was obviously the one that I played with the most. Yes, I have an account. As soon as Grok and Perplexity came around, I've basically just used those exclusively. If I'm out and I'm mobile, I use Grok for everything. It's, in my opinion, the best. And when I'm on my MacBook, I use my Perplexity app. Also, I would say really, really good. So I use I use large language models other than ChatGPT, I should say. Okay. Zach saying that on this government opening will also mean military orders. That's true. I expect that if they really needed something while the government was closed, they'd have found a way to do it. Remember, I actually asked Eric about what a government shutdown meant for operations. He was pretty non-committal on that. I don't know specifically how all that works. Zach, the way I look at this is that it can't possibly be a negative. Maybe it's no change. Maybe it's a positive, but I can't possibly see that as a negative. Thankfully, it's opening up again. All right. Speaking of being thankful, awesome things and opening up, let's bring on 13. 13, good morning. Happy Monday. How you doing here today?
Doing pretty good this morning. Looking forward to the game tonight and had a nice weekend. How about you? How's everybody in the chat?
Well, you know me. I am on cloud nine celebrating my Victory Monday. I was saying I wasn't sure if you were going to be here today. I didn't know if you were going to go tailgate for that Packer game tonight.
Well, I'm not making that drive.
Okay. So that, you know what that means? He's here and we're going to trade together. Really good stuff, 13. You want to start with some movers here?
Sure. Let's go ahead and get that going here.
All right. This is what I'm going to do. I really have to blow my nose. So I'm going to set the table here for Galecto, ticker GLTO. Okay. And I'm going to have you run with it. All right, boss?
Sounds good.
All right, our top mover on the day, and in fact, we have multiple 100% movers here. Our top one is Galecto, ticker GLTO, and it is up 263% here. It acquires Demora Therapeutics and pays about $285 million in the form of a private placement of Series C non-voting convertible preferred stock. So it looks like they're acquiring this with non-votable convertible preferred. So they're not diluting it. Private place, they're not diluting it all that much. I'll let 13 cover that up here real quick. Quick look at the short interest, 6.98% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 2.4 million shares. Today we've traded 16.7 million, but the float here, this is why this is at the top of our list and why it might be great. 1.278 million in the float, right in the butter zone for some of these movers we really like. 13, what do you think here on ticker GLTO?
Well, you pretty much covered the majority of it here. This is moving up on that acquisition of a company called Demora Therapeutics. They did raise the capital to acquire it for roughly $285 million in the form of the private placement Series C non-voting convertible preferred stock. So Series C, that means that there's other shareholders.
Means there's at least A and B out there.
There's at least A and B out there, exactly. So, but this is convertible stuff, so this can be later converted into shares. But at 285, almost 285 million, that's probably going to be a lot of shares. And this is with a company that has a market cap of 6.5 million. So that really increases the overall valuation when they raise this capital for the acquisition. But man, at some point that's going to be a lot of share dilution, and I don't know when that's going to happen. I didn't dig that far that deep into it, but the closing of this financing actually occurs in 2 days on the 12th. So I think that might be our signal to not be in this thing when that happens. I don't know what's going to happen with the stock when they close that financing, but I don't think I'd want to be in this when they do that. So as far as levels go, this did run up to 41.27 this morning. We have since lost the VWAP. It's trying to recapture it at the moment. It looks like it's trying to get back up and recapture the VWAP, but volume has really drifted away. Maybe we get a little bit of a pickup as we approach the open, but that's going to be the first thing we have to do is get back above that VWAP.
So real quickly here, not to nitpick, you said this one ran up to 40. I think that's one of the other movers. This one
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to, it's possible that my broker has a different print, but the high print in the pre-market that I have for ticker GLTO is 2638.
Sorry, 2638. The charts look really similar, this one and probably the next one we're talking about.
Yes, they do, and I noticed that. Okay, and then one more thing here for the chart that I'm going to do, and the reason I was looking at this in the first place, 13, is because I'm going to originate a trend line through the two pre-market highs, starting with the impulse one that we just discussed. Okay, good stuff there. GLTO.
Still the same situation. It's trying to recapture its VWAP, and it's starting to do that right now.
Indeed, it was just a little difference there in the numbers, and the only reason I realized it is because I tried to draw a trend line. Let me go to the next stock that I think looks very similar to this, so we can just get the confusion out of the way here. That's going to be ticker COGT. Yeah, let me start with this one. I'll go back to move here in a sec. This is Cogent Biosciences. Cogent Biosciences shares are trading higher after its phase 3 peak study showed median progression-free survival, of 16 and a half months for some drug with a bunch of crazy letters. The company plans to submit an NDA to the FDA for said drug for the intolerant gastrointestinal stromal tumors. Doesn't sound great here, but it does sound like they're getting some good phase 3 data. That popped the stock to the high that you discussed earlier, 41 and change, whatever that value was. We've lost VWAP, but we have been supported here by the 9 EMA. We're only about $1.50 away from the VWAP, so potentially a move up to that VWAP might still happen here. Short interest on this name, 13.22% of the float shorted with 7.99 days to cover. A little bit higher short interest there, although I'm not sure it's really going to result in a big squeeze. The reason, float on this stock, 123 million. On average, it trades just shy of 2 million. Today, it's only done 2.5 million. Plenty of stock left here in the float. 13, what do you think here on ticker COGT?
Yeah, so this phase 3 peak study is one of 3 different types of studies that this company is performing for that drug, bezuclastinib. And it's
nice show off.
They also have the Apex study and the Summit study. They're all 3 along the same lines of progression, but they're all going to require intense capital if they're all approved because they're tackling different things. This one, the peak study for gastrointestinal. They do have a couple of quarters worth of cash, so I do anticipate they're going to have to raise it again at some point. With 123 million shares in the float, I think you'd see a reverse split happen prior to this, and I didn't see if there was anything that they had mentioned about shareholder approval for having that action occur. But one thing that is interesting is they do have a 13.2% of the float shorted with 8 days to cover, so we could see some squeezing action. Even with this 123 million share float. But I still think that we're going to see this go through the process of trying to reduce their share size and then raise capital, because it seems like they're going to have to do both at some point.
Okay. All right. Good breakdown there. COGT, Cogent Biosciences. All right. Next one that I have here on the list is Move, and it's done its namesake multiple times already here this morning. We had an impulse move right when the pre-market opened that took us up towards 12 and a quarter. We round tripped the entire move back down to 5, and then did it again. But this time we went higher, almost to 14, 13 and change there. Now it does look like we're kind of trading sideways a little bit up here around the $12 handle. That's notable because the VWAP is here at 1037. So we're actually above that. We take a look here at the news. Corvex to go public in an all-stock merger with Movano, creating a pure play platform for secure AI infrastructure and high-performance inference. So Movano and Corvex announced a merger agreement, and the exchange ratio based on Movano per share value of 625. So it looks like the stock was exchanged at 625. The merger itself drove the stock higher. Here we are sitting at about 1182, up 147%. A quick look around the horn on this one. 4.5% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. Comes on an average 100-day volume of 235,000. That's nothing. Today it's traded 7.8 million, and the float here is a micro float, 756,000 shares. 13, what do you think? And while you're giving us what you think here, I'll check Know the Float and see if I get a different float reading for Move.
Yeah, I this one was moving just as I was starting to come on, and I only wrote a couple of things about it, just that it's a merger. At first, I thought this might not be something since it was a merger, and I didn't dive into the details. But seeing as how if this is like a company that's not being taken off the market or anything like that, or they're not merging and becoming something else, it's not going to go under the sticker. This now I understand that this has a possibility of going much higher. Right now, it just went above a resistance area of 1150. I think the next one I'd be looking at would be $13. It could go as high as 17, maybe even $19 today. But let's see if it even gets beyond $13 and up to that to the $17 area. I think 13 is in sight, but I don't know if we're going to get how much higher we're going to go beyond that. But at least we have some levels to look at.
Okay, and really quick here from Know the Float, we have a much different float here, much higher. Lowest reading I have is actually 7.7 million, so that's much higher. But we also have a reading here of 70 million, 41 million, and 90.8 million on the float. Just goes to show you how hard it is to really kind of get this float metric down. But nonetheless, we don't think it's as small as the micro float mentioned at 656,000.
They went through a reverse split last month. It was a 1 for 10. I don't know that. I mean, I would expect all those sites to have reflected that.
Me too.
But that's the last action to their share structure that they had. So you can probably get a little bit of differences there, but not so much. It's like less than $1 million on one platform and like several million on another.
Yeah. Nonetheless, here you're just kind of flagging up here near 12. We'll see where the next move is. Is it down or is it higher? 13. Really good job with some of the levels there for the next move. Okay. Next here, some more data moving this stock. This is ticker IFRX. This is Inflarex. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it with the way the letters are. They had some news here too. They reported positive phase 2A data for INF 904 in hidradenitis suppurativa. This is like a chronic skin condition, isn't it? I don't know much about it, but I'm pretty sure I've heard about this. Guggenheim maintaining a buy, raising the price target to $22. That's notable because the stock's here sitting at $1.78, and that's after a 45% move higher on the back of this news with some of the data there. Quick look at the short interest on this name, 2.43% of the float shorted with 2.71 days to cover. This has an average trading volume of 1.06 million shares. Today, we've done almost 46 million, float 63.5 million. 13, what do you think here for our friend IFRX?
Well, you're right that HS is a skin condition. It's believed to be autoimmune.
Oh, wow. We can just call it HS for short? That's great.
Well, they put a little HS next to it, so I was about to pronounce it, and then I saw, oh, HS, that works too.
It's much easier, in fact.
So let's see. They presented phase 2A, so that implies that there's another phase going on, either alongside this or right afterwards. Let me look at their capital and see how they're doing here. So they've got cash in the bank and short-term investments. They lose about how much they have in the bank every quarter. So looks like maybe 3, possibly 4 quarters at this current cash burn rate of 14 million. It seems like they don't burn that much typically, but let's just say it's about 10. They've got maybe 4 quarters of cash runway. Aside from that, their float is 63 million. Let's look at their chart. They'll probably have to raise capital at some point. I don't think they would need to do it anytime soon.
They basically traded right into a resistance area here. Sorry, I just jumped ahead there on the chart, 13. They basically just traded into a resistance area. It looks like it's kind of backing off this area. I see some pretty significant resistance up here at 191-ish, but I suspect that this 190 to 2 area will provide some resistance.
Yeah, it's had a tough time once it got up into the 2 handle. Even just getting into the 2 handle, like in the after hours and the after hours on Friday, couldn't do it until this morning in the pre-market. And even when we did get over $2, it couldn't stick around above there. So $2 is going to be a big spot if it does turn around and try to push higher. But as far as support goes, we are trying to get back over the 65 EMA. There's going to be a bit of a demand zone. We just opened, by the way. There's going to be a bit of I'm sorry, no, we didn't. We just hit 8 o'clock.
I was like, what, dude?
We just hit it. Sorry, my timer went off. It distracted me. We have a demand zone that goes down to about 155, and it starts right about where we're getting the support at about 175. That's why we're starting to get these wicks underneath the 5-minute candles we have. So if that continues to be a demand zone, then we're going to try to see the price. We're going to see the price try to get back above the 65 EMA. But if this fails, then we're going to come down to the 200 EMA and fall further. If this goes underneath $1, this probably not going to be something we wanted to keep an eye on. But that's a long fall from here. You have a lot of support. Even if you lose the 200 EMA down at 125.
And just kind of looking at this upside area, I mean, $2 that we just talked about, that was clearly acting as resistance in the after hours. Yes, we definitely peaked through that here today, but it was very short-lived. Yeah. And it actually looks like it respected that $2 area again. So until we can clear that out in the regular session, that to me is definitely going to be on by a key level. Kudos to some of the support levels there as well.
Need that volume to get through and hold above 2.
Okay. And while we were breaking down this stock, look what happened here. We just talked about this move was flagging here up near 12. It was likely going to not stay there. It was going to move either up or down. Looks like this move here is up. And I'm looking outside and I see even more snow flurries, and I couldn't be more excited. I can't wait to get out there and walk today. So all my neighbors are like, who in the F is this guy out there in the snow getting his
skipping
exercise? Around. I don't know if I'll be skipping, but I'll be out there getting my exercise come hell or high water. That you can bank on. Move here. Nice move. Grats to anyone that is in this or playing this. I'm waiting for the open here, but woo.
Hey, nice smart bots. Look at that. Great job. He's
smart bots.
2,000 in 2 minutes.
Not stupid bots. Nope. Smart bots. We got it out here. That's what we want to see. Really good start to a Monday here. Victory Monday for you too, smart bots. All right. That was all of these. Next that I have on the. Did you have anything else on your list, by the way? Because these were the big movers. The rest of the stuff here is a little bit garbagey.
No, it's just I'm down to look at the look through the trash, but I think we've got the best ones on our radar right now.
Okay. Screw the snow. I play 36 this weekend. That's Jay. Let me know if we can get around in February. That is something that I would love to do there. Day Trader says it's going to be 82 to 83 here. Way too hot for November 10th, to be quite honest with you. And Blessed Trader says, you like that weather in Chicago for real. I do. As a matter of fact, I love the seasons. I love when stuff changes. Makes me really happy. Okay. Anyway, getting back to what's going on here. Moses wants to take a look at some of the nuclear names. Sure, we can do that. I did just really quickly want to click through a couple of these. MSGY, this is Mason Glory. This popped in the after hours, popped again here in the pre-market, but it's giving us the pre-market formation of death. This is really just wait till it firms up. If it doesn't, look elsewhere. We've got some other stuff to trade here. GREE, this is Green Ridge Corporation. This also popped in the after hours, but really has done nothing here today. The news that popped this last week, New York State Green Ridge, and New York State agree on a historic new air permit that will support the local power grid. Includes required emission reduction that exceeded the state's Climate Act goals. So they cut emissions by 44% by 2030. They ended some litigation that's causing the stock to pop here. I don't really know how to trade this, and I'm not really interested in anything New York based until we figure out some of the stuff that's happening there. SOC, this is Sable Onshore. This stock is popping here this morning on news. Sable Onshore shares are trading higher after the company announced a $250 million private placement. Impulse move took us up to 740. We backed off to the VWAP, ramped again. Couldn't quite get there. You know what that means. Yep, you guessed it. That sets up a trend line that I just deleted by accident. This sets up a trend line that we're going to need to get over here in the regular session. We'll see if we do that.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that one because that's got some pretty high short interest. It doesn't meet our days to cover criteria, but it's still pretty high short interest.
Indeed, 30.53% of the float shorted with 3.92 days to cover. It's only 1 day off of our criteria, so it's still there. We'll see.
How beaten up it is.
What's that?
Look how beaten up it is on the daily chart. This thing is pounded.
And that's the thing. I mean, and you know what? So we have earnings estimated here for 11 days. Where did this report? Let's see when this reported the last time that it did this, last November. Last November was the 14th. So we are actually due for this thing to report in the next 1 to 2 weeks here. They have not confirmed it, so keep an eye out for that one. But chart is pretty beaten down. What do you think on this one? Anything?
I think that this is probably nothing more than a short squeeze play. Maybe there's more to it with the private placement. I just, I just looked at what I know about it right now. And just looking at it briefly, it doesn't seem like it's anything really more than that. Maybe it is something more than that, but that's the only thing that really attracts. That is the only thing that really attracts me to this for a trade is the short interest.
Jay. Good mention. SOC fraud and insider trading last week. Sable offshore shares are trading lower following the report suggesting that the CEO gave material information to select investors. Yeah. Also, an updated report said that the special committee will investigate findings and the company will try to raise $225 million to extend its XIII loan.
Okay, so like I said, I don't think there's anything that I'd really want to do this for beyond the short interest trade. Because they just raised the capital for that exact thing, with a little bit on the side for themselves.
Okay, we'll see what ends up happening here. This popping, I don't know. Here's where it came from, right? This really started. What was the date on that? November 3rd. What was the date on that news that November 3rd? So the pop back here. We are not even, this thing was basically $10.50 before it started to sell off. Even with the 31% move here today, it's just shy of 7. So Phil Mickelson is caught up in this one. Interesting. Probably where I recognize the name from. No? Not a great chart. I would probably stay away from this one. This is not great.
Like I said, the only thing that's interesting to me about it is the short interest because I didn't see anything else out there that I liked.
Also worth noting off of the list here, DVLT. This is a stock that has recently been moving. We had another stock that this was tied to that got some shares or something of that nature. This had a decent day on Friday. Looks like it's trying to break out from 2 here today. Still kind of low volume. And then Rumble. Rumble actually also had some news here. So this popped this morning, went above 750, coming back in a little bit. Here's your news on Rumble. They reported, they also had their earnings. Okay, so they reported third quarter results, but they are to acquire AI infrastructure company Northern Data. Tether doubles down on Rumble with an initial commitment of $150 million worth of GPU services to fuel its AI plans. And it secures $100 million in advertising commitment from Tether. So a lot of news here for Rumble. Rumble up 13.4% here in the pre-market, 19.44% of its float shorted, 3.49 days to cover. That comes on an average volume there of 1.8 million, average volume of 3.1 million shares. Today it's done 1.8 so far. Float on this one still a little thicker there, about 101.5 million shares.
Now we're down on the chart, daily chart, we're down to a demand zone from the summer. June through, last summer. I didn't realize how much I was backed out here. So from June of last year through November of last year, we kind of had some bottoming occur where then we just rocketed at the end of the year. I don't know what that news was that we rocketed on. I'm sure we could figure it out, but we're coming down to that area where we were basing prior to that move. So should see some support all the way down to $5, but if we continue lower than that, probably could end up go down to under 4, maybe even down to the low 3s.
Okay. All right. What else do you want to take a look at now? That's pretty much it here for the list. So we wanted to run down those nuclear stocks that Moses was asking us about. What do you got?
We're getting some requests to look at Archer. This was actually a great trade on Friday. I took a trade.
Okay, let's start with that, but let's definitely hit the nuke names
absolutely.
next. We've got 21 minutes. So we should have plenty of time to cover all.
I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, other than if we are rebounding, because that was a nice reversal candle that we had on Friday. If we are turning around, I want to see the gap fill, and that gap's going to fill at 888. So that's what I want to see first. What happens after that, we can figure it out later, but that's the first thing that needs to happen here.
Gotcha. Right here is what you're talking about.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. That's it. So that's all I've really got to add about Archer. We can cover that some more after the bell opens, the opening bell, and then we see the price action and what it's going to do. But I want to see that gap get filled.
Do you have any trend coming off the bottom here?
No, we're trying to.
These low, I'm just wondering.
So the reversal happened near a support line that I had at 690, and we didn't, quite hit that. Let's see what the low was. The low was actually 720, but still a nice reversal, and we're coming up to a trend line that was more of a support trend line. That goes back to the low from April this year, April 7th, and it goes through the low of September. Then you can see that we just fell out of that trend line. So that's the trend line we're coming back up to.
Got it.
I'm concerned that if we do gap fill and try to go up towards the 200-day SMA and try to recapture this line, we're going to get rejected.
This is kind of what I was asking. If there's any lower end trend line, looks like you had one already that we're trying to recapture. Got it.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to see is I'm just going to focus on the gap fill, and then once that happens, we can see what the price action is. But I have concerns about this getting rejected around the 200. So let's just see what we get with the gap fill first.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at some of those nuke names. We'll start with Oklo. I think this is maybe I should move to the bigger. Yeah, let's do that. Let me actually set this up here. Let me go to the bigger chart that's got all of our regular moving averages on them. And let's take a look here at Oklo. Got to type the ticker in, right, in order to do that. Here is Oklo. So we had a decent day here on Friday. Let me set the stage with the daily chart here. Decent day on Friday because it sure looks like we bounced off the trend line. So giddy up. We'll see if we can actually move higher here. Does look like the 50-day is going to come into play here today. So 120.64 is your 50-day moving average. Maybe call that 120.5. They report earnings after market tomorrow. After market tomorrow. So if you're going to trade this, factor that into any trade plan that you might make. It does look like we're kind of bouncing here. Let me ask you, 13, if we traded higher here today and tomorrow going into earnings, would that be enough to make you nervous?
About what?
About the stock trading up a couple of days in a row into earnings.
About the stock or nothing else, or like the market in general?
Yeah, just okay. Here we are. This had a nice little move down. We have a very clear head and shoulders that we've identified. Looks like the breakout is happening. We did find some support on a trend line. And frankly, this trend line, I know we both have this because we've both talked about this one. This trend line originates back at the beginning of the year. So it looks like it's set up for a bounce here. But if you get an update today, an update on Friday, and an update tomorrow, 3's a trend. That's an uptrend going into earnings. I'm just wondering if that plays into anything here.
No, because you see a lot of patterns that have 3 up days in a row, only to be met with like a 4th down day. So there's patterns that it wouldn't convince me if we have like a down day and then we have 3 up days to try to get back above that initial down day's opening print, and it finally does. But then the 4th day it just tanks again. That's a pattern. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get something like that. But when it comes to Oklo, I think that we're going to really want to see what pay attention to this 50-day SMA recapture. If we start closing above that, and to your point, if we get like 3 closes above the 50-day SMA, that would have me leaning more towards this being bullish than bearish. But it would also start to make me think, well, we're going to see this pattern invalidated, and I don't think that's really going to happen until we start taking out some of these shoulders, the highs of the shoulders of the head and shoulders pattern. But this is just part of the price action we're getting right now is just part of the retesting of the neckline. So I would say that if I don't want to get too ahead of myself with this one because the patterns have been pretty good lately. And I think that if we just be patient and see what we get today and not get too ahead of ourselves, we'll be able to make some pretty good trades in it. I think this is still going to be going lower. I don't see a reason for this to go higher. Maybe there's some, the reopening of the government helps lift this, as it's doing a lot of stocks today. But I still I'm going to be viewing this with a bearish sentiment, just because this is a really solid looking pattern, and it's going through all the motions of back testing the trend, the neckline before it goes lower. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself with OKLO. I think that we just need to be patient, see what it does. First step we need to see is what happens with this 50-day SMA. Are we going to get more than one close above it? That's what I would
yeah, I think you're spot on here. Jay Rice saying Oklo has not been an earnings story since it went public. So I'll tell you this, I for sure am not having any Oklo position through the earnings report. If this gets traded, I will be flat prior to that earnings report without a doubt.
Yeah, and it could invalidate the George pattern, but I'm not going to stick around and find out, because up here, I don't think I want to have a position to get that answer.
Don't blame it. Bharat. Oklo don't have any earnings to report yet. Absolutely love it.
No,
Bharat.
it's going to be how much they lost, not how much they. It's all for companies like this. It's going to be how much did they lose? Is it a lot or a little?
Exactly. Care Solutions. Sup, everyone? Been a while. Hope you're green lately. We're doing good, man. Glad to have you back. Hopefully all is well in your corner of the world. Welcome back. Ryan saying that the Netflix 10-for-1 split, another notable thing this week. That's a good call there. And we've talked about this one. Is it going to mark the top? Is it? I don't really know. Looking at the chart here, we're still beneath the 200. We really haven't had the strength to move back above the 200. We'll see if that does end up happening here. That split, let me get you that exact day, because I forgot what exact. Is it Wednesday? Let's see here. Split effective 17. So that's going to be next Monday. The record date is today.
I think it's today. Yeah.
So it's actually next week that it's going to be effective. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if Netflix. We'll see if it's still a fun trade, or if it's still easy to trade. Post that split. Hopefully it does not have the same effect that the split on Chipotle had, because that made it a lot less fun.
Yeah, Netflix, this is really telling me that it's got to get back above the 200 and the 20-day SMA, or we're going down to the areas that I like. The 1060 to 1080. I think we're going down there if we cannot get back above those two SMAs.
And actually, yeah, it was this day. It was Wednesday. What was the low of this day? 1073. So not quite at 1060. 1073 was the low that we made on Wednesday. Okay. Will we see more shorting after the Netflix? Maybe we should put out a Netflix poll. And the snow just kicked up here. Oh, it's a blizzard. Let's go, dude. Go.
Oh yeah, it's really chilly out here too. We had forecast to get down to 38 earlier this morning. I don't know if we actually hit that mark, but we are definitely in the very low 40s out here.
I think I was in the 20s here. So this is so awesome. The amount of snow that's out there. Happy man on this Victory Monday.
Look at GLTO. It's trying to get through that trend line. And COGT also recaptured the VWAP. So another one to keep. It's the movers that we're talking about. Keep an eye on these going into the open, or if you like trading pre-market, there you go. You got some movement happening here with these. GLTO did get rejected trying to get over that trend line. Needs more volume if it's going to get back above. Looks like 23.
Okay.
23. Yeah, 23 is the big resistance in GLTO right now. I think at one point you called this one gelato.
I probably just by accident, just because, everyone knows.
Because we always talk about food on here.
I was going to say, this is obviously a stock show, but our secondary or tertiary focus here is obviously food. So,
exactly. And then the move, we have that coming down off of the 1890 high that it printed about 15 minutes ago, still holding above VWAP. And it looks like this $13 level that I think we were talking about earlier as being a resistance area is now support. So as long as we hold above 13, this is going to probably try to climb higher above that 1890. But that's only if we hold above 13 and the VWAP.
Okay, I've got VWAP, by the way, at 1292, so pretty much right at 13, the price level.
Not me, yeah, I'm here. IFRX is turning around slowly, but it's recaptured the 65 EMA briefly. It's still trying to hold above it right now. Hasn't gone back up to the VWAP yet. But remember, $2 is the big level in this one that it needs to get over. So it's trying to march its way up there. Still 20 cents away.
Okay. Moses, did you want to take a look at any other nuke stocks? We still have 11 minutes till we open here, which is great. I feel like we got through a ton of stuff here this morning. We took a look at Oklo, SMR, NNE would be the other two nuke names that we talk a lot about. SMR here looks like it's trying to recapture the 200-day. We'll see if we close above that. And then NNE was the other one.
What about
NNE? This never even made it down to its 200 before it bounced. And then UUU and NEC. Okay.
I was going to say, what about UUU?
Let's do that one next. He had 3 U's, which is Universal Safety Products, but I think that he meant the 4 U's for Universal Fuels. I tell you what, these charts look like they're bouncing. I would imagine they'd all look similar here. Here's UEC, also similar looking. Be careful with these bounces. I think the easy move on the upside's been made.
For UUU, quadruple U, 1750, a pretty clear area of rejection and support. It spent September trying to get up there, and finally in October it did. Moved right through it, went up to 2750. But since it came down, it was only acting as support for one day before it fell through it and became resistance again. 1750 is a big resistance level, I think, for quadruple U.
Okay.
And then Tom is mentioning IMSR. That's the one that was formerly the SPAC. And it is de-SPACing.
So are we waiting for this to round trip to like 10? 200 days down here at 12.
10 maybe. It just depends on how much you believe in the whole nuclear theme. If this is something you want to do and you want to hold on to this for the long term, maybe this is a good one. I only did my due diligence on their merger. I don't know enough about Terrestrial, the company that they merged with. So you'd have to kind of do some digging yourself if the nuclear theme is one you want to play. There's also another nuclear merger that's supposed to, I don't know if they happened already or not, but HOND, I think they already merged. HOND merged with the other company and I don't think it was this one, IMSR. I think that was the other one. That was we were watching at the same time with HOND. I forget what this was going to switch into HOND. Maybe somebody in the chat can help me out with that.
LEU, this is obviously Centrus. This is one of the best in breeds. This doing the same thing, bouncing off of the 100-day here. It is $2 short of the 50, but a recapture here of the 50 would be pretty good. And this one, again, a real stock, I think.
Yeah, I think the nuclear names all look like they're still kind of bearish. But they all have some pretty clear levels they need to get above if they're going to change that. So that's just kind of what I would be waiting for with this. Are we gonna get that recapture? Is it going to come back up and be a strong theme again? I don't know. It looks like these are. They might have some juice left in them, but I don't know that we're going to see the highs again. Maybe we will. I just don't know.
Brian mentioning IREN here. The trading action on this one has basically been a hold of the 20 and it's bouncing. Sorry, 13.
IMSR is the one that merged with HOND. Then I must be thinking about a different one. The other SPAC that we talked about.
Wasn't that CCCX or whatever?
No, that's the quantum company.
Churchill. Oh, that's right. That's quantum. No, good call. Good call. I have a tough time remembering these two. And I get them mixed up often.
But anyway, so the one that was merging with HOND, if that's IMSR, that's the better one. Than the other merger we were thinking of. And,
boom.
Dang, I can't think of which one it is. Do I like LDI, Loan Depot? I mean, God, I guess, but if you're going to do the mortgage side, I think, Rocket and United Wholesale are better names to do. But that's just my opinion. Loan Depot, certainly going to be one company that benefits from a wave of home buying if we're going to get one. So it's going to be up there with the other mortgage stocks if we get this movement in housing that we're anticipating with rates coming down. So
we'll see if that even starts this year. Right. You might have some more time on that. Yeah. And then real quick.
Oh, thank you, Jay. It was NKLR. Thank you. That was it. Real
quickly here's your earnings for this week. So CoreWeave tonight, that's going to be the big one. Rigetti tonight. Who's oh, that's going to be fun. Rigetti, what's that?
Rocket Lab.
Rocket Lab. So we're getting some of these high flyers are starting to report earnings. NBIS reports tomorrow.
CoreWeave
reports tomorrow. CoreWeave tonight. That's the big one.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff here. Where's Sydney? Is Sydney out there? TDW, Tidewater reporting here tonight as well. And just looking ahead here this week, Flutter, that's going to be the FanDuel parent company. They report on Wednesday. For those of you that are looking into the sports betting and all of that. See what else do we have here?
That's Beyond Meat after hours tomorrow. Let's see how Beyond it goes.
Oh, that's gonna be good. The Metals Company, TMC, reports after hours on Thursday.
Cisco could be an interesting name
to watch. Cisco on Wednesday, yep.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
Grail, that's been a huge one. Rumble, more news here this morning. So, okay. Oops, let me go back here. Let's get the thing back on. All right, 13, you want me to throw up? I'm actually going to step away before the open here. Do you want me to throw up any tickers to review before I do that?
No, I have nothing on the request line. Anybody else want him to throw something up there? Yeah, so that I understand that, Tom, that Han was now the one that merged with INSR. I couldn't remember when that merger was supposed to happen. I know they just recently had a vote, so anyway, thank you. Appreciate it. Going to start along on the cues.
Here, CRDO.
CRDO?
Yeah, EG wants to take a look at Credo. I'm going to throw this one up. This actually has a decent chart. I'll be right back, though, 13. Just give me 1 second.
Sure. So this one was sinking last week, and it finally got some support from the 50 and 20-day SMAs. I was able to recapture 160 after opening beneath it. Looks like this area here where it was trying to get it only spent a couple of days above, actually, is this area above 178, maybe 176 to 178, bit of a resistance area going back to mid-September. Only spent a couple of days up there, so we're trying to recapture that. I would think that if we do trade up towards 178 to 180 and we get another rejection there in CRDO, we're going to gap fill. That's what I'd be looking at right now. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen if you're long this and this goes higher. I don't know that we're going to get the movement you're going to need to get to over 180, but that's what I'd be concerned about, is if we don't get above that 178 to 180 area, that we turn around and gap fill to the downside, which will take it to about 163.5. Has anybody got a call or put ideas for any stock? Yeah, let us know. Catherine wants to look at Wolf. Beyond Meat to 31. We'll see. I mean, I'll say this. I don't believe that we'll see 31 and Beyond Meat, but if we get a day where this thing goes on the wild short squeeze.
Did I come back to a $31 price target on Beyond Meat?
No, I'm just
okay.
Just putting a little dot on something here.
Okay.
It could certainly go through some kind of short squeeze event, but that's really it. I don't think that it's going to go to 31 and just stay there. The valuation wouldn't make sense.
Producer,
he did it. He probably did.
I didn't, but I mean, you know what? I am going to take a picture because the blizzard intensity level is so high. I'm going to send it to my coworkers real quick. 1 second.
All right. While he's doing that, I'm going to look and see what these movers are doing. Looks like SOC is looking a little weak going into the open here. Might see this come down toward the VWAP.
Oh, man.
Lose the VWAP.
Man.
GLTO still trying to push through that. Well, it did get over that VWAP a couple of times. It's not able to push through $23 and pretty much $23. That's been the resistance all morning. All right, did you have something you needed to show us?
No, I just wanted to take a picture so I can text my coworkers. One of them is in South Carolina, and he's trying to You're like, guys, it's 70 here. It's awesome. And I'm like having none of it. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's beyond me. It was on the front page of Yahoo Finance, and I think it's because it's been getting a lot of attention. I don't think it's great. Yeah,
is there any pattern when it appears on the front page that's the top, bottom, or do we know? Have we tracked that at all?
No, but I think you might want to track the ones you're going to want to trade because we're about to open.
That was just a crispy segue. Here's the. You can't really see the blizzard tear. You can kind of only see the snow on the ground. The camera didn't really pick up the blizzard, but yeah, dude, there is snow out there. Oh, it's great. Okay, enough geeking out about the snow. We are open.
Yep, move coming down to its VWAP, COGT trying to push higher. There it goes. GLTO testing, getting some support from the trend line, losing it now, coming down to some of these lower levels. IFRX pulling a little bit out of the open.
PayPal spiked a little bit. Tesla's ripping out of the open here. I'll keep my eyes out for any unusual options. Be curious to see what the rest of tech is doing as well. Microsoft pulled a little bit off the pre-market highs. Let's see about NVIDIA. NVIDIA actually looks like that's trying to rip higher here. Amanda, good morning. You're in Upper Michigan. Do you have snow?
GLTO halted to the downside.
Yep. And that's actually above VWAP, by the way. In fact, on GLTO, I have VWAP at 1862.
Yeah, be careful this morning. Some of these may really get sold into.
Yep. Ondas sold a little bit right off the open. I don't know that there's necessarily something that we have to do right off the open. Palantir, by the way, back up to 185. Closed my Palantir. Is Alexa around? I closed my Palantir short last week. Alexa, we finished Ryan 1, Carp 0. At least in the head-to-head. Carp's whooping me in the non-head-to-head fight, obviously. But we did it. We successfully shorted Palantir for a little bit of a gain and did not get carried out on a stretcher. So we'll take that.
28.
Oh, my God. And Amanda's decorating her Christmas tree. Oh, my God.
Nice. The 20-day SMA, probably going to be some resistance if we get above this 185 area.
COGT not looking great. IRWD, Ironwood Pharmaceuticals, this trying to take out the pre-market high here.
Move halted to the upside.
Take a look at move. I took that off my screen.
Got support from VWAP.
Yep. Good morning, Judge. Happy Monday.
Hey,
Only
Judge.
up from here. Netflix is higher out of the gate. Apple's higher out of the gate. Palantir is higher out of the gate. Amazon looks like it's testing 250 out of the gate. Tesla went to 444 and pulled back. You know what else I'm going to do here? Let me cut. I think I screwed this up. Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
Getting a rebound in some of these names.
Stop screen sharing. And we'll go here, and then we'll share the screen again.
IFRX trying to recapture the 65 EMA. It's above it for the moment. Still beneath VWAP, which I have at 195. Let's see. GLTO. This should be coming out of the halt in a minute or two. You probably have the exact time that halted.
Yeah, that was halted 9:30:43. So we needed 2 minutes. It would be 9:45:33 if it is indeed a 5-minute halt.
Okay, so we have 2 minutes almost exactly.
IFRX not doing much. SanDisk being mentioned in the chat here. That's ticker SNDK. SanDisk straight up. Oh my gosh.
Got to put our
Look at
picture
this move.
somewhere.
Look at this move.
Elf Beauty is getting a good move out of the gate here.
So is that a bounce back move?
It's moving like $4.
God, Elf is 10 points off the Friday low already. Do we have a gap on this chart that we need to be? Yeah, but that's not going to be for a little bit more. Okay, got it.
Oh, and you know what?
Hood.
That still makes 194.50, maybe 195 resistance area.
Hood right out of the gate. 144, probably the resistance area there on Hood. Didn't see any. I could have missed them though. I was gonna say I didn't see any put or option sweeps on Hood. LITE, which got mentioned by Jay, that's Lumentum. This I'm seeing some more call sweeps. This spiked out of the gate as well.
You know what did really well on Friday that might continue to climb higher is YOU. That had a nice.
That was so funny.
That was a nice rebound, and it's still up here. I mean, it might be flagging. We'll see. We might need another day or two of some price action up in this up area above 35, but not a bad reversal.
Look at the price action on this. They reported earnings peaked up here at 36 3/4.
Yeah.
Round tripped the entire earnings, and now they're right back up there. It's literally in here between 36 and a half and 32.
Yep.
See what happens when it breaks out of that area. Banks trading higher here. The good mentioned by the 3X ETF. Didn't even look at that here. Goldman Sachs straight up out of the gate.
All right. Oh, I was just going to say we should see GLT open. It just opened.
Okay, going to it.
Trying to turn around. Nope. Coming towards VWAP still.
I'm not going to buy that one, guys.
No.
I'm going to stay away from that. I will let this confirm. Good luck if you take this on a possible VWAP bounce. You are catching a falling knife if you do that.
If this is going to turn around here, great. But I need if it's going to start to trade beneath VWAP, I need to see this hold above 17.
Now, Frank asking the $64,000 question here. Market is, in fact, bouncing today. Will it hold for the start of a year-end rally, or will it serve as a bull trap? Frank, you're always asking the important questions.
I don't think we had enough of a pullback. That move was like 3.5–4%. That was, there's hardly anything in my opinion.
Okay.
Move.
GLTO did bounce off that off the VWAP.
Move should be unhalting here in a little bit. This one halted after GLTO did.
I have move halting 1 minute and 10 seconds after GLTO. Here you go. Here's your move.
So it should unhalt here in just a moment.
GLTO is going to halt to the upside 21.59.
There's move open, and it's trying to move higher. Looks like 1780 to 18 is going to be a resistance area if it climbs higher.
Kind of spread there. Pulled back to 1450 here.
SOC starting to get a little bit of volume here, coming up to a resistance area. There's a bit of a trend line we can draw with this one too.
You guys are also mentioning app loving ticker APP. That's up $40 today. It's up $41. And I agree with Tuna. Move feels weak. That's going to halt to the downside. Boy, that happened fast. Good to see you, this Smoke Tuna.
Well, remember this is the one that has the very, very small float that we're getting different readings from different sources.
Halted downside 1329. That halt came right now, literally right now, 937.46. GLTO halted 936.53.
It's halted the upside. So it's trying to move over the $23 level. APP, this looks like it's going to have some resistance about 680. But if it can get over 700, I think this will go on to make some new all-time highs.
Where's Lion Atlas this morning? You still long app? This daily chart looks good. Just at a glance, It just looks good. I don't know if that's going to be good, but man, it looks good.
It's the kind of chart that makes you think, oh, maybe this is going 800. Just looks that way.
Yeah. It certainly looks like a retest of the all-time highs, probably coming here pretty soon. Ondas so far holding 6. See what Palantir is doing here. Palantir straight up. Look at that. Straight up.
Need to take a look at Palantir closer here.
COGT, this is trying to get through its VWAP right now. Remember, this had the phase 3 peak data. Cannot move through that 32.5 spot.
190 next resistance for Palantir.
Oh boy, it's $2.50 away from that. It's on its way. Netflix, by the way, 11.22. Apple 272. Where's Tenzin at? Tesla continuing to pull down here, 433. Gotta think there's going to be a Tesla bounce coming at some point here. Options aren't telling me yet when that is. COGT is trying.
And we have Forever 21 Bitcoin talking about Kodak here. This is trying to hold above 8. 8's a big resistance area, going back quite a while. It was resistance back in February.
Is this KODK?
That's it.
Got it.
Now, if we do get some closes above this $8 level, the next big resistance area I have is going to be at 10. A lot of supply to chew through to get up there, though. Okay, what else we got here?
Why isn't this? Let me try forcing it here.
Getting some nice movement out of IDAI today.
Okay, here we go. I got Kodak back. Let me go to that here real quick. IDAI.
I hope that Friday wasn't the last day to get it under like 375.
Yeah, I sold some of my IDA at like 410, I think it was, right around there. Still have at least half my position. I'm going to trade around this thing though. My thought is that if we trade up, maybe sell a little, and when it comes back in, maybe re-add that position back. I might try that on this name here. COGT, by the way, looks like that tried to turn around here. I know I couldn't resolve the chart. Sorry about that. Looked like this is going to try and go higher. We have a high of the pre-market at 41.15. COGT here took out that VWAP 32.5, now 33.5 here.
We're just waiting for GLTO and move to unhalt, but that's probably not going to happen for.
Yeah, Lion said, I said buy the dip on Palantir this last week. Lion, that was part of the reason why I wanted to close it on Fridays, because I felt like, at least in the short term, we're probably going to have some selling exhaustion, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'm still going to take a look at PLTZ, though, because if this runs again into a resistance area and the market feels a little bit toppy, I think I'll go back to PLTZ, RGTZ as well. That reminds me, 13, with Rigetti earnings coming here, do you have any plan on RGTZ, or maybe not a plan, but a thought on how to trade this?
I mean, well, I don't think
level, or are you waiting for the earnings to just be out of the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want the earnings to be out of the way.
Got it.
I don't know what they're going to report in their earnings, but I don't really think they're going to say that we suddenly have, billions of dollars in our bank account to justify our valuation. I don't think they're going to report the earnings revenue that's going to justify it either. This thing is still pretty overvalued. So, yeah, GLTO. Move is back open. Trying to get some support from the VWAP. And GLTO, as mentioned by Zach, that did break over the trend line and has halted up above the $23 level.
This is GLTO. COGT, by the way, looks like that went to 35.
GLTO, when this unhalts, I'd be curious to see if this can get above the 26.36 high in the pre-market.
Okay, it looks like GLTO was a great bounce off that VWAP.
Yep.
Didn't feel good in the moment about that one, but grats to anyone that took that. Tenzin, there he is. Puts day, baby. Tenzin, what are you loading up in? Are you actually looking at Apple puts, just out of curiosity? I know Apple's one of your favorite traders. I sold my puts. I guess I'm confused then, Tenzin.
COGT, this is starting to get some more altitude here. Trying to go higher. Needs probably some better volume than this if we're going to see those pre-market highs that it went to.
When I took a look at this the first time, it was spread pretty good. Looks like it's spread about 20 cents now. That actually looks a little bit tighter than it was earlier here this morning. So we'll see on CO. Actually, it just looks like it's spread out there again. Yeah, it's spread out to 30, 40 cents there.
This price action is really feels like it's losing steam pretty quickly.
On what? The market?
Just
mover?
the market in general. Are you getting that? I mean, at least with these movers, that's what I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah, the mover. See, that's why I asked you. The movers, it looked like there was a little bit of hesitancy, and then they started to go. I'm not sure if I trust this move. The market, on the other hand, given the backdrop for the catalyst, the government looking like that's going to reopen here, earnings being pretty good, this to me doesn't feel heavy. I don't know that we're at the top yet here for the market. 679 right now on the SPY.
Yeah,
680.50 would be your S&P cash level. That's another 20 points higher than where we're at right now. On the ES 68.50, I guess that's 18 points higher. Yeah. Q's hot, junk not moving. Jay, that's kind of what I feel.
680 still in SPY. That's still a big resistance area. Now we might actually take that out after, we could test it today and back off and then break through it later. But that's still a big resistance area for the SPY, 680. We're right at the, we're pretty close to it too.
VIX, by the way, broke into the 17 handle. So it was in the 18s in the pre-market, currently 1794 post this open. And Bitcoin actually at the morning low. So Bitcoin was at 106.8 earlier today. This pulled down to 106 a little bit. Let's see if Ethereum is following along there. Ethereum did gap higher, that also moving with Bitcoin. Tell you what, I did add a little bit to the December. I actually bought new calls there. I bought the 32 December ETHA calls. I still have the 40s in December. So I think if this move picks up at all, we'll probably sell those 32s to help finance the 40s that I'm underwater on. That actually seems like a smart move. Bitcoin actually just lost 106 right there.
SOC, if this gets a volume spike here, we can push through the trend line that we have with this off the highs of the pre-market. This needs to see some volume happen here, like right here and right now. And it's been declining since we opened.
Day trader, I caught a saw long for 30%. 30% overnight will get you a register ring. Right, that sounds very Anne Marie-ish of you. It turns out that you can teach an old dog new tricks, Amanda. That's what it comes down to there. Definitely try to learn from Anne Marie whenever I can.
Rum is trying to recapture its VWAP, but it's not having a good time doing it. Large seller in the way at 684. GLTO opened, popped higher and sold into that pop. Now it looks like it's going to halt to the downside.
And it actually looks like COGT might be getting a little heavy up there at 35. We'll see if that ends up breaking through. Here's your GLTO turnaround, 13.
Yeah, and there it is, halted now. Move is moving down. Next support's going to be at about 10. I'm I'm just not really feeling a lot of these movers this morning.
Nope, I don't feel great about them either. I have no new buys here today. No new buys here today. Tenzin, Apple broke 272, trying to go higher here to 273. You said you didn't trust the move. Let me know, what is the position to enter short, and what kind of time horizon are you looking to do that on? IFRX here looks like it is trying to hold that 200 EMA. I've got VWAP at 199. This is trying to turn around here. I'd watch it through 177.78.
I mean, our IFRX looks like it's trying to turn around. It hasn't really traded much above the 65 EMA since we opened. We're pretty much sideways with IFRX. Now, if we can get up to the VWAP, that'd be an improvement. That'd be getting up to the resistance that we saw earlier this morning. So, and this is the one that still needs to get a clear out too. So, first thing we need to see is get back above that 65 EMA and then go for VWAP. COGT backing off of its new session highs. Looks like MSGY is trying to turn back up. Volume on these are just not great. It's okay to sit on your hands too. I think Smoke Tuna was even just mentioning you better not touch any movers. It's probably not a bad idea. Beyond Meat is strong. I haven't looked at that one since we opened. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got here with BYND. Come on. So this sank out of the open, found support down near the 200 EMA on the 5-minute and bounced. There's a bit of a trend line here.
I'm sorry, on which one I was talking to a coworker. BYND, got it.
Yeah, so starting with that pre-market high of 149 and drawing the line through the high of the 830 high before we moved up there. We're coming up to that trend line. We just tested it and backed off. We break through this. We want to see the 149 high get cleared out, and then might even come back down to back test this trend line. But that's the next price action you want to see out of Beyond Meat if you're bullish.
Put the roadmap on the chart ahead of getting there. I love it. By the way, COGT, I talked about that really kind of topping out there at 35. Mm-hmm. This has now rolled back over into a 32 handle. This coming back down to the VWAP. I'll tell you what, that spread that we saw in that early, this has me a little worrisome about COGT. Tenzin answering my question here. I'm going to wait until 10 o'clock to see what the entire 4-hour move looks like. That's for Apple, AAPL. PayPal looked like that tried to bounce. Someone asked about PayPal earlier. I never got around to it. The chart is still as ugly as it was last week. This looked like this was going to try and take off here. This now looking like it's going to give back some of its gap higher here. PayPal not looking great. Curious to know anyone that's still trying to trade this PayPal here. 65 we discussed as one of the areas of support. It actually might give that up here.
Yeah, it needs to get back above 68, in my opinion. Still, I'd still kind of view this through a bearish lens while it's down here beneath 68. If it can recapture, that's more bullish. But 68, that's the big resistance it's got to get back above, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that might be the case, Jay. They need to change it to real meat. But yeah, 31 is, I don't know. That's just a number somebody mentioned. And if it gets up to there, it's the only reason I think it gets up there is because the name's squeezed, like really, really squeezed. Nothing fundamental about it. Go ahead.
Tenzin, regarding Apple, Tenzin, let me make sure I'm getting this right here. I'm buying Apple calls at 272 or below. So I think what you're saying here is that if Apple comes back in and loses 272, you're looking for upside calls here. Are you looking at those into December, longer dated? Let me know. Lambo Roll saying PayPal has done nothing but go straight down since earnings. Really ugly. Exactly. And it actually was showing us like that it was trying to pop above its 200 and get a constructive chart, and it just couldn't do any of that. I'll tell you what, I didn't go big on PayPal because I was trying to be a little bit more conservative. This is one of those times where it saved me. I would have been smacked. I would have traded PayPal with options. I'd have been looking for a breakout above the 200. All of that got deleted in the movement that PayPal had made. None of those trades would have worked.
Yeah, Lion's right. The small names are not really providing the trades this morning. There's got to be some medium and larger names that we can look at here that are providing better movement. Maybe GLTO, gets support from the trend line, but I'm not feeling great about any of the movers right now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Jay Harris says, I'm taking PayPal puts. See, that's the other thing here. During all of this, where PayPal has really kind of flashed what I want to call fake out breakout moves to the upside, it will not break down and lose the 65. So unless you're literally shorting those pops, you're probably not in a whole lot of profit on those puts either. Just been very difficult to trade. Eventually, I do think it's got to break out of the sideways range, but gosh, it's been there forever. I can't make you a promise on when that's going to happen. No one is believing in their partnership with OpenAI. That's PayPal. Lambo Rolls, I think that the price action literally tells us that that's the case. I think you're spot on with that. And I think some of you actually voiced that when we got that news. Like, what is this actually going to mean? Apple, by the way, new highs. Sorry.
Palantir running into 190. I think that's going to be resistance if we get there.
So do we look at, so here, I'm going to put Palantir on the chart that I'm sharing. I'm going to throw PLTZ, maybe even for just a day trade here if we think that this is good, if the market might top, and actually SPY moving down a little bit, NASDAQ, so maybe that's doing it just ahead of Palantir.
Just hit 190. Just hit it.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. It could push even higher, but I think 190 is the spot we're going to want to see if we can close above it or not.
And I have this marked off. This must have been another level that we had talked about before. I have a line here. This is a trend line, I believe. I don't think this is a horizontal line. I think this is a very, what?
I think it is a horizontal line.
At 189.61? Yeah, you might be right, 13. Sorry, I thought this had a little bit of slope on it, but I think you're right. I think that is a horizontal line. I don't think that's a trend line. Sorry.
We're getting some little bit of bullish movement here with GLTO. Move is halted to the upside, trying to come back up. And I'm just waiting to see where the turnaround is happening. It seems like Palantir running into a little bit of resistance in this 190 handle.
You know what? I am going to try a little bit of PLTZ here. Folks, this is a day trade only. I'm buying it 594 right here. I'm going to see if this 190 area is actually resistance. If this completely goes against me, I'm just going to close this one out. I'm not going to hold this overnight. I'm looking for a day trade only here, PLTZ, off the 190 resistance area that 13 has outlined. We'll see if it works. Amanda says at some point, everyone will be on the partnership list with OpenAI. I bet Buddy the cat has one too. So Buddy is not thrilled with AI. He doesn't like that the toys are not as good as the toys he's accustomed to. He is not a believer. He has no partnerships with any AI company at present.
Yeah, the big stocks doing well. Yes, they certainly are. I'm looking at some of these big names and just kind of smiling internally. Zoltan was mentioning earlier that ALB had a nice reversal. That's back over 100 now. So there was some really there was a big buying opportunity with that.
I'm going to try and refresh Pro here too. Looks like I'm lagging a little from some of the data. Move is halted, it looks like. Here's your ALB chart. This actually might lose 100 here. Lion here saying Palantir is going back to 200. Well, if that's the case, then my short trade will not work, and I'll close that out, but it'll be small.
Is it going back to 200 today?
He didn't specify. Lion generally doesn't have one-day price targets, so I don't think that's the case.
I mean, I certainly think it could go back to 200, but I'm just talking about today. This is the first time we're back up here at this price level since Thursday. So, and if you look at a smaller time frame and look at the price action that since we came down here, this is kind of creating a bit of a shelf, like a resistance area. Just all the sideways supply from when we were trying to get support before we fell through it on Thursday. So if everybody's looking at a smaller time frame on Palantir, you can see where these supply and demand zones are.
Real quickly here, Amanda saying, see, I think this move is too big. I think we've got an hour and things start to slide back down. Well, I'll tell you what, if that's the case with some of the bigger names, then I should be okay with the Palantir short there for today.
Mama Bear's mentioning Kodak. Did that push higher than $8? It's up to 830 now. Yeah. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups.
I hate rogue hiccups, dude. I absolutely hate them. They're the bane of my existence. They really are. They like, I'll be feeling fine, and then in the most embarrassing time, I'll have some hiccup I have to deal with. By the way, we did run a Netflix poll. Netflix stock split. 46% of you said it goes higher post split. 33% of you said not sure. And 21% of you said it'll see more shorting or more downside movement.
I don't think it'll initially go higher, but eventually, sure, it'll go higher. But at first, I think it's you're gonna see a downside as rebalancing happens, and people might even sell some of their shares after the split.
I'm going to refresh Pro here real quick.
For the exact same reason.
Real quick here, Lion saying this rebound looks strong. I would not short Palantir. Lion, tell the world my story if I don't make it, please.
I mean, if you're not confident in that, I think you still have an opportunity to get out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more joking than anything else because I'll be honest with you, I don't have the cojones to short Palantir outright. I'm going to use the levered ETF, which is what we've been talking about. And if those trades go against me, at least I don't get carried out on a stretcher. It hurts, but it's not the end of the world.
I haven't really liked trading PLTZ. It doesn't really give a lot of great movement. I wish there was a better way to short Palantir aside from doing it directly or the PLTZ. But it's better than nothing.
I'm going to check some of these movers here. Buffalo by Bicycle says a cure for hiccups: suck water through a napkin from a glass. It works every single time. I will take your word for it. I've never heard that one before. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome.
Amanda, kind of with my point here, look at NVIDIA post-split. There was an adjustment period. That went lower before it went higher. Same thing with Apple. Same thing with Walmart. Not everything rips after a post-split, especially when you go from like what 420 something million to 4.2 billion.
Yeah, and in fact, even on things that have been healthy, one of the things that I've noticed is that after a split, the stock generally moves down a little bit as profit taking occurs and then resumes its trend. Mm-hmm. So we were just the conversation really kind of originated from noticing that Chipotle's split really seemed to mark the top. That was a big split, very popular stock. I understand a lot is different or specific to Chipotle, but nonetheless.
It marked the top for a stock that was at a price that had no business being up there. It just absolutely went on a crazy, crazy run. I don't think it had any business being up there.
PDK, regarding the hiccup tip, says you could also be normal and use a straw. Buffalo by Bicycle is swearing to people that it actually works and that it's not some ridiculous advice. Oh, Jay is accusing people of hitting the whiskey bottle prior to the open. Too early to drink, Jay.
Because it's way too early.
Yeah, ex-sniper. On this ripping, I shared the tweet earlier. Let me see if I can get it back here for you. I shared the tweet earlier. It looks like there's going to be Germany is going to be selecting the Iron Drone as one of its drone systems. That's why you got a pop on Friday that carried through the through the weekend. Excuse me. Here's the tweet, by the way. Ex-sniper, I'll give this to you in case you want to follow this account or maybe go through some of the different stuff here. Here's the tweet. Securiton, Germany, has selected the Iron Drone radar system as the kinetic interception solution. This is what we saw on Friday.
Jane Smith, do you just kind of like dare it to happen? I'm not mocking you or anything. It's just, if I concentrate on the next one, it's like, all right, I'm ready for you now. It's almost like you're daring it.
Kodak, this now moving to the upside on some expanding volume too. This is what we like to see out of some of the movers. Also move here, one of the movers. This is halted to the downside, it looks like, just now. 10:02:40. Downside here, 1166. That's MOVE. Vero is getting mentioned here. Yes, Palantir, it did peak above that 190 spot. Vero is getting mentioned here. This is $2. This coming back to its VWAP. This was a good mention.
SOC coming down to its 65 EMA, down at $6, almost $6 exactly. Might see some support there. I'm not suggesting anybody trade this thing, but if you're looking for something to do, then that's where I think we might see some support there with SOC. Move, yeah, you're right. Halted to the downside. GLTO, that's halted to the upside after back testing the trend line that we looked at. For GLTO, if we're going to get the price action that I would expect off of this, breakout of the trend line and back testing it, we should be coming up towards 25 again, maybe even get higher than
that. Smoke Tuna says he's not touching any of the movers, doesn't like them here. Here's your GLTO chart that you were just talking about.
They're not great. They're not
no,
great.
They aren't. Morning. They really aren't. You're right. No reason to force it. Remember, don't. I know we all just had the weekend off. We all want to get back into making some money, but the way to make money is to not force a trade when you don't have a setup. That's actually a good way to lose money.
Yeah, Kodak might be a better one to trade, but I wouldn't, chase after it now. If this comes back down to 8 and gets support, that might be the trade there. It still looks like this thing wants to try to go for 10.
XPEV, this little bit of a gap and go. Is this moving above 25 now? Let me see if we had any additional news on XPEV.
Nope. Isn't it just the robot news that they had? I mean, it might not be in pro, but they've been, since last week, they've been touting this new robot that they had on display.
Well, we did get news that some of the rare metal shipments from China. I don't know. I don't know that that's. I don't see any fresh news accounting for this move. Maybe it's continuation on the news that you're talking about, 13.
Yeah, here, I'll see if I can get an article for you on that.
ES is range bound here. 680, Brian, seems to be the spot that we would want to see the ES break out from to move higher. It didn't quite get to 680 on Thursday, did it, in the pre-market right before we dipped ahead of the open? No, it was just shy of 680, it looks like. Yeah, 680, I think, is going to be that spot.
Okay, I'll just send this to you. This is pretty much directly from the company's website.
Thank you.
But they, I don't think this is really hitting, any mainstream media. Like all the articles that I'm seeing are from like these tertiary names, these secondary or tertiary names.
Producer here saying that the XPeng robot, they had to cut the clothes off to show that it was an actual robot and not a person.
Yeah.
Because it was so real.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Here, I'm going to give this to anyone that's interested. Throw that in the chat there. I'm not going to go through this at the moment, but there you go. XPEV ripping to the highs still.
There you go. SOC down to that 65 EMA. Let's see what happens down there. Just going to watch it for fun. No real interest in trading it.
That's one of the movers that don't look good.
We did get, a mover that is looking good is Archer, ACHR. This got through some of the resistance it was experiencing around 850 this morning. It climbed back up there in the pre-market, got rejected twice as we went into the open. Even tested it in the open and got rejected. Now we're moving through it. So hopefully this now becomes a support level, 850.
We've got 865 as a previous level that I've ID'd out here on the chart. Yeah, that looked like a previous support and resistance level going all the way back to 2024.
CW mentioning Archer and Joby.
Actually, I might go back further.
Let's see if they've got some news here, or if this is just technical. I don't see anything from today.
We have open going for its trend line. This now second leg out of the open here.
These just might be, turnarounds from the selling I was experiencing earlier. I'm not seeing any news for Archer or Joby. That's new. We did get some last week, but nothing new. GLTO is hot. Yep. Okay. So there it is, up through 25, like I was looking for. Let's see if we can clear out the pre-market high. This is looking like it's going to do pretty much that. It looks like it's just set up to push through 2636. Let me see where this might go here.
I'll tell you what, this thing was a great bounce off that VWAP test earlier.
It's just the technicals are really working well with this one.
Yeah.
So this is wild. So the this could go to 27. That's the next, I think the next resistance area I'd be looking at here with this one. We did get above that last month. I don't remember what the news was, or if it really even moved on news to take it over 27. That made it run up to $31.70. But as soon as we get to 27, we're in. There's a gap that needs to be filled back from 2023, August of 2023. We gapped down, and we tried to fill it. The last time we were up, we went up to 31.70, but it backed off and said maybe another time. If we do get this the start of the gap fill, and we go beyond the 31.70 that we went to last time, the resistance that I see that we could run up to would be about $40.
Okay, whoever was asking for the news there threw it in the chat there for you. Tuna reminding you, if you have gains here today, don't be afraid to take them. I would concur with that.
Yep.
Ryan, do you think it would be wise to put a put on app? I'll be honest with you, Jay Harris, I don't have a feel for app. I feel like I would be gambling there. Looking at the intraday chart here, I would imagine if we can't get above the VWAP, maybe you do have more of a move back down. Kind of thinking along the lines that Amanda was thinking on earlier, if the market kind of weakens up and we do start to pull back a little bit later in the day, that would make sense for that to work. But Jay Harris, dude, I don't have a line on this. I don't trade this one well. I would say go to Lion on this one. Lion and Yassine have been in and out of this one pretty good.
Interestingly, some of the cannabis names have been seeing some movement this morning, and I think that might be because of the potential reopening of the government. One of the things that we've talked about earlier this year that's supposed to happen with this current Congress session, according to congressional aides, is they're supposed to be tackling the cannabis rescheduling, or at least opening it up for the VA. There's supposed to be some kind of legislation happening with cannabis. So I'm getting the sense that if, it's starting to move on, that legislation actually starting to happen once this government shutdown is over. And that's the only thing I can really pin on it being up today. But seeing some upside, some upward movement here with the cannabis names this morning.
Really quickly here, regarding a couple of these, I'm looking at CoreWeave, Iron, and NBIS. CoreWeave reports tonight after hours. NBIS reports tomorrow. Iron reported last week. CoreWeave and NBIS, both these charts look like they want to try and go higher here. NBIS looks like a little bit of profit taking and a great recapture of the VWAP. We'll see if this has the strength to go higher. CoreWeave reports earnings after hours here today. Looks like this initially tried to move higher, but has since lost the VWAP. I would almost think that this one's not going to run into earnings. And the SPY and NASDAQ looking like it's going to try and move higher here. It's trying to break up and out of this formation. Palantir 191 still near the highs. Like Apple bounced off that 272, Tenzin. Was that the gap area that you were talking about?
GLTO opened, halted down to the support area of 23.29. Looks like this is where it went down to. So this is down at the support area. Still waiting to see if we get that move through the pre-market highs. It's not done yet.
Lion thinks app will hit 700 very soon and would not short it. Kind of what I figured there from Lion.
Yeah, I don't think I'd short it either. Because we talked earlier about how this looks like it wants to go back up. It looks bullish. It wants to go back up to, like I think I even said I wouldn't be surprised if this went up to 800. I don't know if this is going to do 800 this year, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
COGT had that one little move above VWAP and then came all the way back in. It's kind of been a ghost town since then. FLNC, this is another one the show's been talking about recently. This looking like it might make a move towards 24.
SOC down at that 65 EMA initially got some support, but it's volume's not great enough. I don't think this is going to hold up. And moving lower. This is now beneath VWAP. This looks like it's going down toward its to its 65 EMA as well on the 5-minute.
Microsoft calls going off here. Microsoft, this pulled off 506. It looks like this is bouncing again. Kathy mentioning NVTS. That's Navitas, right?
I think I'd be careful with Microsoft. I like this, and I'm still in it, and for the very long term. But this is going to go through a bit of a free cash flow downturn as it typically does in the last quarter of every year. I think that this resistance area that it's coming up to near the 50-day SMA, I'm not sure that it's going to get recaptured now. Maybe this will be better later on, but I think this could go lower before it goes higher.
Ryan, is there a W? Yes, there's a W right next to the last Bears game. It's a Victory Monday here. Welcome, Daniel. I mean, I don't know what he's asking about, but that's how I turned it around there real quick. You know, one of the other things, looking at the market performance here, so Bitcoin pulled off of the area that it was at, bounced off 105, but actually looks like it might be looking to retest that area here. Ethereum, same deal. So Ethereum kind of looking weak again as well.
Daniel, it didn't split. Netflix doesn't split until next week. Today is the record date.
Record date, next Monday, effective date.
QCOM, I'm being asked about. Nice pop that tried to get back into this parallel channel that I had, but fell right back out of it. I think what's going to have to happen here with QCOM is we're going to need to see this. I want to say hold above 170, but I think it's going to have to hold 168.50. I think that's the better level. As long as it holds the 50-day SMA, if we can hold that and turn around and get back above the 20-day SMA, I think that'd be the best case scenario. It looks like it's just it needs to get support in this area between 168 and 170. Otherwise, I think we go lower.
Real quick here on Palantir, which does continue to make new highs. 13. Palantir looks like it didn't even stop at that 190 area. From the chart here, you can see I also have the top end of this area marked off at 194.25. If Palantir goes through that, we'll from this short here, we'll pat Lion on the back and say, Lion, you were right.
Spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out 190. And then it went higher.
Right? Well, like I said, we don't know which way we're going to go here. Still thinking maybe it's 10:17 now, right? So 10:30 is generally our slowdown time. 13 more minutes. Let's see.
194 is the next resistance area. Probably more like 194.20, but 194 is the next big resistance area. It was support on the 30th of October. And it lifted away from there. And then as soon as it came back down, it was initially support, and then it fell through it and back to its resistance. So 194 is the next area I would say that needs to get through.
That's what we got marked off there. We shall see. Here's Vero, VERO, Venus Concept. The first move up to the VWAP rejected it. The second one, now we are through. See if we back test 276. Oh, yeah. But Amanda says, oh, please, Lion is right all of the time. He doesn't need our approval, a.k.a. pat on the backs, with those fat stacks of cash that he's using as furniture. All right. I have a picture now of Lion sitting in a chair literally made of $100 bill bands. That would be something. Izzy Tuna's here. Tuna doesn't like the movers forecast. He's been very clear about that from the beginning, and I agree with him. It was a good mention on that GLTO and the other one that went higher. Vero, I know, is going higher here. Bitcoin still resuming its move down. Let's see if the low on Bitcoin gets taken out here today. Palantir taking a break here at 192. I'm not ready to say that's going to roll over yet. I think the 194 level that we charted sounds a bit more palatable for today.
No, it's been going through this red candle, green candle, red candle pattern. Maybe this current 5-minute candle ends red, and the next one will push higher into the green.
That's for Palantir. Mm-hmm. Lion thinks it's going to go through 200 like a knife through butter. Or 195, excuse me. 195. Barat says Palantir on negative divergence. What are you looking at, Barat? Celsius, CELH, back down here in a mid 40 handle. Oops, that's not the right one. Let's get Celsius up here. It's up off of Friday's lows. What happened here? Share repurchase, 300 million share repurchase on Celsius. Okay.
Wasn't that getting hammered recently?
Yeah, it was. It was in a 60 handle, popped back down here to the 40 handle. Here's move. Looks like this is going lower. Jeremy mentioning that CGC catching an upgrade from benchmark.
45 to 47 for CEL. That's a bit of a supply zone there, that $2 range.
CELH, right?
CELH, sorry, yeah.
It's all good. CEL. When I hear CEL, I think check engine light and my heart drops, but I got it.
We got some folks that think Palantir pulls back.
Palantir's, I'll tell you what, showing that little topping candle there met with a green power candle here. Here's your Palantir chart.
Yeah, red, green.
It's doing the back and forth that you just talked about.
Yep. So now this green candle is going to take it higher, and then the next one will be red until that pattern stops. That's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah, and I agree. That CGC upgrade is to a hold. It's not big, but it's something. Recent agreements have significantly reduced the cost of GLP-1s, saving going towards Chipotle.
I feel like when it comes to CGC or any of the cannabis stocks, giving it a hold rating is akin to bogarting. I think only the older folks will get that.
Humphrey Bogart? Like, you mean just like...
See, only the older folks will get that. No, like just, some dude just kind of holding it and just kind of talking without passing it.
Talking without passing it.
Well, that's an example,
I know. It's just a funny one that you chose.
Don't Bogart that. He didn't get that. BNAI coming to loading zone. Okay, let's take a look at BNAI.
That's actually a penny stock, by the way.
Well, it is now. Wasn't it? We used to trade this at one point, didn't we? This used to be above $1. Yeah, well above $1. Is this
not for a bit?
Was this a SPAC? It seems like this was a SPAC with the way it was kind of sideways at the $10 area. This is what SPACs can do. If it was.
IFRX still down here at $1.60 after getting a $22 price target earlier.
I love all these comments now.
Palantir getting high. Don't hog the giggle smoke. Giggle smoke. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. That's rather amusing.
GLTO back down to VWAP and the trend line. It just unhalted and halted down. Move trying to rebound. That's up to the trend line. I'm sorry, the VWAP trying to recover. Vero running into some issue here with getting over 3. Cellaring away, it looks like.
Market trading sideways here. So it pushed up to this area, can't break any higher. Boy, not stopping Palantir or Netflix, by the way. Those two both continuing to move higher. Apple came in, Tesla came in, Amazon came in. Palantir and Netflix did not.
moving through VWAP. I don't know if it's getting good volume or if it's just really spready. Seems like it's maybe a little bit of both. But it's trying to get through VWAP here. It was just trading above it for a moment. All right, here comes 94 with Palantir. So
all right, let's go to it.
Big green candle, following the red one. We got about 30 seconds left in this candle, and then I would expect maybe a red candle to follow here. This thing is pretty extended too. Really does need a red candle looking at that. Move might see 18 today. Where's it at right now?
Which one? Move. Got it.
Okay. It's halted to the upside. It's halted above the VWAP. That'd be a big recovery.
Move? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get cute there. Perfect timing on the PLZ-TZ trade. Only if it stops here. Otherwise, we're under. We'll see. This is it. Do or die is coming here, Buffalo. Do or die is coming. We had the area marked off. We're at the top end of the area. It either does it or it doesn't.
Watch PAAS going into earnings. PLTR, yeah, Palantir, almost at 194. Let's see, what was the high print here? It was 193.72.
Instacart, Maple Bear shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results. An expansion of the share repurchase program.
Let's see, that also has some short interest, but not enough days to cover. A $1.5 billion expansion of its share repurchase program. So was it 250 million before, or is that just accelerated? I'd have to read into more of that, but it's a lot.
Bitcoin continuing its bounce. That might be good for the market trying to break higher here. Actually, the NASDAQ looks like it's trying. SPY's a little bit more timid about that. Although the futures look like they're turning up here on the S&P. All the lights are burned out on the Christmas tree I'm putting up. I need one of you to come with wire snips to cut them out while I take a nap. Are there any takers?
So this is one of those trees that has those lights just kind of woven into to them, like one of the fake trees. They're nice, but you know, if those lights start going out, then it's time to replace the tree.
I don't think we have many takers on individually snipping wires for Amanda here. NQ did break out of that range. Might be a fake breakout. We'll see, though. SPY's still holding in it. We shall see.
Yeah, this market's kind of, you know, a little sideways at the moment.
We talked about the 10:30 time coming up here, 3 minutes away. Does seem like things are slowing down.
Mm-hmm. Too cheap, cut the old strands and put new ones in.
Oh, she just needs another Iron Jade baby strangle trade, and she'll probably be able to afford several trees. I just made up a name of an options trade there. It made no sense. Apple free fall. Tenzin, Apple losing 272. Are you still looking at calls for a bounce, Tenzin?
He just said
bought Apple. Man.
Well, look at the chart. I mean, the charts, that's not too bad looking.
He had said earlier, prior to this move, if Apple drops beneath 272, he'd be looking at calls. Well, this is now basically a pullback to the VWAP right beneath 272. Loaded calls here. Tenzin, I'm telling you what, if Apple turns around right from here and goes higher, we might need the Tenzin Apple newsletter service. debuting tomorrow. Palantir just shy of 194. We'll see if that's going to be the spot to turn it around or not.
Yeah, Google's looking great.
You know what? We actually haven't looked at Google here today.
It'll be back up to 300. It's looking like it's just getting ready to.
This looks like it's gearing to take out 290 to the upside on its way back to 300. Oh, the blizzard stopped. Now the snow removal begins.
Rotation, absolutely. And I think we could still see some more of that too.
Rotation, that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think we're done with that.
Value names? What are you thinking?
We got what, like it was like 3.5% pullback off the highs. I don't think
barely anything.
Enough.
Yeah,
I don't think that's enough. I think that that was just a little bit of the move. I think we need some more. We need some more of a rotation.
Barat says he's got serious FOMO on Palantir. Upside FOMO, Barat? Is he saying Amazon? Is Amazon a buy right here, 248? Is he?
Depends on your time horizon.
The D-Dog option from Sandy triggered from Friday. She had talked about giving out some automated trades there. D-Dog, that's higher here today, isn't it? So you got your 194 rejection on Palantir into a red candle. We'll see if it holds. Here's your D-Dog move up towards 200. Move is open. Let's check. That's one of the movers.
So if Amazon continues to come in, like it bounced off a support area on Friday. Like you could see it pretty clearly back from September 9th. There was a high there that we pretty much bounced off of on Friday, and we are turning up here today, but we're coming up to the resistance around 250. It wouldn't surprise me if this came back in some more, and if we do end up losing this, what is this low here? The 238.50 area, we might end up coming down to 233, where there's some more support.
Okay. Izzy says no, this was not a buy for a day trade. Lion, I'm in a few 250 calls. What's the time frame on those calls? And Amanda giving you an idea here if you want to go Palantir a synthetic long by using options. Let me know what you have for the strike and expiries on that trade, Amanda.
As mentioned, move is open. Thank you, Wiss. Trying to push higher. That actually got up to $15, backed off of that level. Still
Papa John's is halted to the upside. Someone asked if Squawk was working earlier. Yes, it is. And I checked with Charlie. He had a family something to do this morning, but he is there. Let me see if there was news here on Papa John's.
That's a big move.
Yeah, no, we just got news on Friday here.
I'm not seeing anything. And you said this is halted?
It says it is. Trading halt, 1031.53. PZZA.
They are in advanced talks for a $65 a share buyout offer from Triartisan Capital.
Wow, right now?
That's the news that's been coming out this morning.
Wow. Yep. I'm hearing it now on Squawk, close to a $65 takeout offer here. This halted to the upside, 44.80. Papa John's, PZZA.
Takeout, I guess. That's a good one.
Yeah, this takeout pizza, right? Dude, I had Lou Malnati's on Friday. It was such a good day. It was such a good day.
You know, it's super interesting. $65. That's a that ends up giving a resolution of a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here. an inverse head and shoulders. I'm sorry, $65. Yeah, that's okay. Well, a lot of room to go to get up there, folks. If that's what's happening with this.
And that's an all cash transaction. 60. Okay.
Wow, really? Jeez.
Approximate Papa John's value of 2.7 billion at 65 per share. They're advancing toward a finalized agreement, though nothing has formally been concluded, and the talks could still end without a deal being reported. So here you go on Papa John's. This is going to open here. This could be on deck here for a trade. I'm not in this.
Move, still getting some movement here. Looks like it went higher than $15. Kind of a little bit of a spread here, about 20-30 cent spread.
Yes, Webcoin PZZA is in fact a news halt there. Yes.
Do you buy after halt? Jeez, I mean,
I think that would depend on what it is, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing final, and maybe there's somebody that is trying to sell their shares they currently have up around there, and it traps a bunch of people. I don't think that I'd want to. It's maybe, but no, I don't think that I'm going to be buying this out of the halt. Maybe that's the wrong play, but
hey, I already gave you one wrong play here today on not buying GLTO off the VWAP. So it's okay. Michael DeSoto says, why is it I can never be holding stocks like PZZA when they pop like this? That is a super frustrating. I know the feeling. It's because you can't buy everything that you want to own for the long term.
See, Brian is kind of hitting on what I'm talking about here. It could come out of the halt at the acquisition price. And if I had an order out to just get, pick it up when it first prints, that would be the price I'm paying. And there'd be nothing there for me. I don't think I'd want to buy it out of the halt. Let's see what it does. Amazon 250 calls expire December. Oh, so Lion's having a good time with that. Move is still moving higher. It's looking for 16. It's going to get it. It's going to halt again. 18 coming.
Let's move.
And I think we got to get a shout out to Smoke Tuna, who was mentioning that it could go to 18. It's not up there yet, but it's on its way. 16.20 is the halt price, it looks like. And there it is. And it looks like GLTO is not having the same kind of fate here. That's losing VWAP, going lower, coming down to the 65 EMA. That value is going to be at 15.90.
Micron, more upside here. Micron 256.
I mean, there's pretty much there's a good number of RAM manufacturers, but there's like three big ones, and it's Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix. They're the big ones. Looking for something here. What's looking good to you folks?
I do want to see what happens here with pizza out of that halt. I'm just curious because there's no deal formalized yet, so I don't think it's going to open up at the buyout price of 65. Would imagine there would be a premium arbitrage there anyway, but I want to see where it opens. I don't have any order out there or anything like that. Jay here saying memory, Ryan, Microsoft, SanDisk, STX, and WDC. Yeah, I know they're all higher here. Yeah. They're all doing the same thing. I guess I'm just wondering if there's any other, new fresh news that we haven't covered on that space yet. I don't think that there is.
No, but we have talked about how the demand for compute isn't going away. So it's going to be all these semi names. AMD is going to get it. NVIDIA is going to get it. All the memory and memory storage names are going to get it.
Did any of these have high short interest? Micron 2%, 10% for Seagate. Check Western Digital here. Western Digital 11%. I mean, there's some, but none of this is abnormally high. SanDisk 7%. Dan Nick says he's buying lots of pizza. This is a good day for that, Dan. Actually, every day is a good day for a lot of pizza, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it has been a huge run.
Yeah, those were good dip buys on those memory names. Marty, we have mechanical keyboards. That's why you hear them. Mechanical are the best. Forget your membrane keyboards. Mechanical all the way.
Yeah, the thing about some of these names, we don't want them to be too far away from their moving averages because they'll get a reversal off those. So right now, you have Micron about 17% away, a little more than 17% away from its 20-day moving average. You know, when that happens, I'm just like, well, it's a matter of time before this is going to start coming back in. And this thing is also extended too with the over 74 RSI. It's certainly, you know, an indication not to be buying up here. This is where people, I think, would be wanting to sell. Now, if it comes back in, if this comes back into the 50-day SMA, that might represent another buying opportunity, but that's really far away. That's like almost 40% away. We're debating about buying. Yeah, a lot of these names have just gone on some crazy extended runs. I mean, you know, I'm up really handily in, you know, AMD and Broadcom. And some others that I have. I'll have to look through my list, but it's been pretty good since April 7th.
Yeah, that was a great buying opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Great buying opportunity for some of the long-term names there. GLTO.
Yep, that's recovering a VWAP.
This does look like it's holding VWAP pretty good there.
It traded beneath it and the trend line. It looked like it was coming down to the 65 EMA, but it you know, caught a bid trying to come back up higher, but it's still struggling to hold VWAP right now.
Papa John's still halted here. This is now 10 plus minutes from the halt. PZZA. Now news halts can last. There's no set time.
No, there's not. It could be halted the rest of the day.
I don't think that's going to be the case. That would be my gut, but it's not. I'm watching it here. Move. This resumed. This should be going. What? Okay, this actually moved on. Papa John's open now.
Oh, where's it going to go? All right. Looks like it's backing off.
47 is the high there. Here, let me put it up here. PZZA. Well, I'll tell you what, my Thinker Swim chart isn't even updating. The level 2 ladder is, but the chart isn't. And to your point about the point that you were making about not just buying the open here, you'd instantly have been down 3 points on that buy if you had done that.
Yep. No, of course it wasn't the $65 buyout price, which was you know, a remote possibility, but this isn't, you know, didn't seem like it was a good idea to buy this out of the halt.
Probably not.
If it gets some support down, you know, around this 43 to 45 area, maybe there's a trade there, but and there's nothing. It's not confirmed yet either.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got nothing confirmed here. So I mean, here's the thing. So is it going to bounce? Maybe. Is it going to go up to the price? We don't know. This to me feels kind of like a gamble, right?
I think at this point it might be a rumor, and if you're going to try to buy the rumor and sell the news, then maybe that's the play for you. But I don't want to play that this way.
Okay. Here we go. 45. I've got now PZZA. Now, what's interesting about this is that there's 20 points between the price right now and the potential buyout spot. So at minimum, keep it on your radar. Maybe the spread comes in a little bit. Maybe the spread comes in a little bit, maybe gets a little bit easier to trade here.
Beyond meat getting hammered or tenderized, I should say.
EYND getting tenderized. I like it. How about Tyson? This is one we talked about. Tyson had earnings this morning. Looks like this went higher on earnings, gave it all back, and now is marching higher. Interesting about this is that we mentioned Tyson for a potential move into like a consumer staple here.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've got some old levels marked off here, and this $55.73 level that I have is pretty much.
Give that to me again. 55.73. I'm going to mark that off on my chart. 13.
Yeah, so kind of came up almost exactly to that. The high that we made today was 55.68, so 5 cents off. This level is significant because this was the low of 2016. When they had a big earnings miss and the CEO was fired. So for some reason, that's created a support and resistance level.
Wasn't this though? Yeah, this is the one where the CFO got like arrested for drunk.
CEO was fired.
Yeah, but there was another.
That was later. That was after 2020.
Okay. That was Donnie. That got that the one that you're talking about that got fired.
Yeah, this is from 2016. This is the 2016 low.
Would not hurt to buy a few shares of pizza around 44, 45. You got 46 now, so it looks like PZZA might be trading up here.
Yep.
Here's the thing. This is gonna be volatile back and forth here as people kind of digest this new rumor that's just hitting the market. What you're talking about, Lion, is a potential play on this moving up to 65. So I don't really think that the back and forth price action would affect your trade here at all. So what's 50 cents or $1 if that deal shows up? That's negligible. If that deal comes to fruition, you do well, I'd say. Probably
and
buy as much Papa John's as you want.
But see, that's the whole thing.
Sauce, that was the best part.
That's the whole thing. And Lion's kind of telling you, like, it wouldn't hurt if you were going to try and do that buy the rumor, sell the news play here. If you pick up a few shares here, and if it's a deal that actually is going to happen, well, then this is going to go to 65, and you've got a nice little lottery ticket. If that's the risk you want to take.
Is anyone worried? Here's the article itself. This article has an abcmoney.co.uk web address. Is anyone worried about that maybe not being legit? Both TriArtisan and Papa John's declined to comment. I guess that's normal if you're talking about a business takeover. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. That's all. $44 is Papa John's still doing its best to settle out here. Hey, at least we got a news catalyst to trade something.
Yep. Move pulled back, halted to the downside. The back and forth continues.
If not, then you could just keep selling calls against your position. Lion, I like how you're thinking about this. I guess you could.
Yeah, like you buy 100 shares, sell with a call against it for 65.
Yeah, you could probably do that every month and then slowly lower your cost basis.
You just keep selling $65 calls until the actual deal comes through.
Well, if it's 44 here, I don't think the 60. Let me take a look. Let me
well, I'm just saying because people have that number in their mind now because that's what the expectation of the buyout price is.
Yeah, I mean a 65 call for December is 40 cents. So here, I mean, what you could do is you could just like if you bought it right here, let's call it 45. See, these option chains are really stretched out because of the big impulse move that happened from this piece of news. Let's say you buy the stock here at 45 and you sold the 50 call against it. You could probably sell that call $275 a call. And so you do that every month, $250. You'd lower your cost basis by $250 a month.
Amanda's saying sell the at the money put.
Sell the first at the money put. So the at the money put that I have here is 47.5. It's 370 by 820. So I think what Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, but what you're saying is kind of do what Anne-Marie says here, where you try and get a better fill. So you'd be looking to sell maybe at the high end of that range. I think that's what she's saying.
Sell the 50.
Ryan, you can just sell the 50. There you go. That's what you just said, 13.
Well, I was reading what he was saying.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see what happens here. PZZA. PZZA. We'll see how this shakes out. At least we got a piece of news here that broke while we were on the show. That's cool.
GLTO has strength.
Tenzin, by the way, sorry, 13. Tenzin 271 might be supporting Apple here. Let me go to GLTO 13. Apologize.
Yeah, it just pushed through 20, and it's getting some volume here. If it can get it through the 9 and 15 EMAs, next resistance is going to be at 23.
Joe, from everything from the link, it does look like they are associated with the ABC that you think of. It's just the money division might be another division there. I have no reason to assume that that's fake. I just can't verify its authenticity, I suppose. And I was just trying to play devil's advocate.
We're at 21 now with GLTO. This thing going on a little bit of a run here.
Nice bounce off the VWAP there too, huh?
Yeah, now if this continues to get volume, I think 23 is going to be the big resistance area. Whether it breaks through or not, can't say right here, but that's the resistance I'd be looking at. Also, a little bit of a gap fill on the 5-minute chart there from what is this? 2160. No, I'm sorry, 2152 to 2329.
Yeah, I see it here.
Yep.
Looks like PZZA seems to be settling here about 45. Only spread a quarter right now. Action seems to be slowing up. Volume seems to be drying up. Be interesting to see what kind of spread we get on this when it's all said and done. 45 seems to be the pin price. That's $20 low below the mentioned takeover price. Excuse me.
The comment from Jay. Some of the folks down at well, no, I say some. It's a lot of them down at the port in Long Beach call SWIFT. They give it an acronym. A lot of truckers do. Sucking with intense force today.
Wait, the SWIFT was
SWIFT. Sucking with intense force today.
Okay.
So it's just funny. Every time I see SWIFT, I just think of that. But yeah, good luck, New York. 194 resistance with what, Palantir? Is that what happened? Yeah, because we turned around, went back down.
FOSL.
As soon as we broke that red, green with that green reversal candle, we have been red ever since. Coming down to support down around 190, though. Let's see what happens there. Maybe we
Hey,
get some
Barat.
support.
Sorry, 13. I thought you were wrapping up there. Barat says, what a wild ride on short Palantir. Barat, I took the arrows so that you didn't have to. Barat goes on to say, great call on the 194 resistance, guys. Look, the charts don't lie. Look, Barat, look at the chart. I started to short at the initial point. It said goodbye. There's no resistance there, but look what happened at the second one. Literally tapped it and rolled back over here. Good stuff on you. You're trading in more size than me, boss.
So, producer saying that CNBC is saying that the Papa John's headline was coming from tip ranks. How strong do you think that is?
Well, now you got me thinking about the ABC Money link that I just shared here with the group. I don't look at tip ranks. I'm not trying to disparage any company or anybody here, but I don't look at tip ranks as like one of these sources where it's like that it would have needed to appear somewhere else for someone at tip ranks to have generated some content off of it. That's the way I look at it. And in our news feed here, the link that we're attributing is the same abcmoney.co.uk link that I gave you guys earlier.
Crow mentioning VCIG, with some movement here. It's almost at 2. This had some news last week about a direct registered offering with shares priced at 180.
Thank you, producer. This is what I was talking about. Producer saying tip ranks attributed that to published first on the fly. So the fly is a source that I would consider to maybe, hear some news for the first time. I appreciate you doing the legwork on that, producer. That makes sense to me. So I don't have a problem with the tip rank story. I that doesn't tell me one way or another whether this 65 buyout price is legit for Papa John's or not. It might make for a trade here, though. Papa John's trading up here. And really quickly here, Amanda, I sold the Iron Fly in pizza 40.45 put spread and the 45.50 call spread for $6. I just took $100 off of the market. Take that, market movers.
So we're getting some news that's pulling
you're
the
going to
market
buy that
down
new
here.
Tree, Amanda. Buy that. Sorry,
we got some news that's pulling the market down here. Trump's posting on True Social about air traffic controllers getting back to work. This came out about 20 minutes ago, but it's starting to really affect the market. The flight disruptions are now worsening because Delta and United are offering the extra pay. So that's probably going to, hammer the airline stocks a little bit, that they have to shell out more cash to their staff.
Here's the truth. President Trump posts on True Social, quote, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now, in all caps with 3 exclamation points. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax. I'm reading his words, guys. Don't keep your arrows away from me. I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to the country.
All right. How's gold doing? Because that sounds inflationary.
13. Oh, good times. Pizza, by the way, PZZA 46 test coming. A little bit of patience might have paid on that trade there. Barat says, look at the RSI divergence on Palantir. It's a clear short, even though the price is moving higher.
Yeah, so be careful.
Smoke tuna. After all of that, great news. More volume for the market.
Yeah, so far Palantir not stopping yet, but coming down to some support around 190.
Let's see if PLTZ can tick back above 6. Low there was 662. My last ad, or excuse me, 562. My last ad there, 580. I missed the bottom by 20 some cents. Palantir coming back. Let's have that breakdown. You saying pizza's getting more attention now? As if pizza doesn't get enough attention throughout the course of the day.
Rigetti is coming back underneath the 50-day SMA.
We talked about maybe loading that up for another short.
So the idea with this one, and it didn't get back up to 38, so I don't know if I can, because I mentioned that might be the new load level, but now that it's been back down in this sideways channel, I'm wondering if every time it tries to get out of this, we had the gap fill, so we did do that today. It seems like as soon as we gap filled, we went a little bit higher and then turned around. You see the gap fill from Thursday to Friday?
No, sorry, I'd had it. I was reading the chat here. Chat's popping. Here you go.
Yeah. So the gap from Friday, Thursday to Friday.
You're right.
That got filled, and then we reversed.
Dude, that was a tiny gap, but you're spot on with that level. And you are sizzling today.
Oh, stop it, guys!
No, look, golden greenhorn. He's sizzling every day, baby.
I'm simmering. Thank you, Golden. Though.
Simmering.
Rigetti, this losing the 50-day SMA and coming down pretty hard. It might get support around 32, though. I still think this is going to end up coming in, but I can't really, I'm trying to figure out where these load up levels are for RGTZ. I don't know. The 38 was one, so was the 20-day SMA. I don't know if we're going to see those being the load levels again, but we might see the bottom of this sideways channel before we start touching those again. Just something I'm watching for. Rigetti may get down to 30. It should, and it should go lower, to be honest.
5, I think, is our target.
I think a little bit lower than that, but you're in the right ballpark. It should be single digits for sure. Absolutely.
And it looks like RGTZ might be trying to make a move towards 20. Currently at 1775. Yep. The chart sure looks like a possible breakout above 20. Obviously, it's tied to the underlying, so a breakout from what that chart looks like. It is what it is.
Take care, Judge.
Yeah, you know what? We're all going to take care here. Judge, take care of yourself. Have a great rest of your day. 13, we are pretty much out of time here, though. So Any closing words for the group here? Because this was a good way to start a Monday.
Well, my hands are warm because I was pretty much sitting on them all morning. It's not the kind of price action I was looking for as far as movers goes, but you know what? That's okay because we had some other trades in some of these other larger names, and we're not going to shy away from looking at those. Not a chance. But tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get some better movement out of these movers. We'll cover them. We'll look at them. We'll look at some of the big ones as well. We'll trade them. We'll make some money. It'll be a good day. But until then, folks, have a wonderful rest of your Monday and enjoy the game tonight. Take care. Go Pack.
All right. Really good stuff there, 13. We'll see if 13 is celebrating a Victory Tuesday with us here tomorrow. 13, take care of yourself. Good stuff as always. Folks, that is going to be it here for today on the Victory Monday. My Victory Monday. Go Bears. Hopefully you had a good session here. Nice to break some news here right when we're on. Hopefully we get to do that a little bit more. I'll keep playing Squawk while we're on here, so if we get any breaking news, we'll be able to capitalize off that. Really good way to open up the week. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused.